Oh wait, fucking, hold on.
What?
Okay, whew, we're good. We're good. Thought I started on
What?
Twitch for some reason. I was like, oh my god, Chase,
Oh
get
my
it together.
god.
Now we're good. It's on
Get
YouTube.
it together, man.
All right. Welcome to the three people that are actually gonna watch this video, and two of those are gonna be me and you, Nate. But
Yep.
so I'm here with Nate, aka Meta Wolfie Gaming. I'll have a
AKA Nate
link.
Finds Music, AKA
Oh god.
fucking Spooky Time Theater, partner number one, and AKA Strange Salsa partner number one, and also Meta Wolfie Highlights owner. Yeah, all that shit.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right. I'll try to put one or two links down in the description for his channels. But so
Put
we're
some
gonna
there.
we're gonna tell some creepy pastas and scary stories, some of what we've been through. If you're wondering why Nazi Zombies is on in the background, it's because I'm streaming this from my PS4, and this was the only like scary type of thing I could actually get in the background. So yeah, we're gonna just have this in the background, and we're just gonna talk for a while. I'm never actually gonna play the game.
I just thought of this. Probably
What?
too late, but I'm gonna check anyway to make sure your audio is being shared.
Yeah, I was actually. I want to check the
Always a
same
laugh.
thing. Make sure yours is doing the same. Sure yours is doing the same thing. Yep. All right. Hold on. Let me just make sure my mic's good. Might turn it up a bit. Yeah, that sounds good.
Payoff, fucking amazing. I'm gonna try my best to read this without sounding like an actual fucking retard. So let's do it. All right.
Let's get into it.
Here's my story. And he starts by green texting. Here's my story. Be 16. Be black and have family down in Alabama. They farm and own a huge amount of land down in Huntsville. Uncle owns a big house and a bunch of trailers they put out in the woods for hunting or camping. Down south cousins suggest that we go out there to camp. I'm a city kid from Chicago, so they tease the fuck out of me. Collect food, kill a pig and some chickens, and bring necessities to camp out for a few days. We get to the camp and it's obvious something is weird. Air has this weird electric smell like right before a storm, like ozone. We think nothing of it and unpack and go down to a little creek to swim for a few hours. All of a sudden, some older white guy and a white teenager come out of the bushes. He has a shotgun in the crook of his arm and says hello and asks us what we're doing this far back in the woods. Tell him about my uncle who he knows and say we're camping out. He tells us we need to be real careful out here and stick together. There was a big animal in the woods. His son, who is my age, asks if he can stay and hang out with us. He says okay. I'm going to stop green texting because the story is fairly long and the format is harder to write in. So we end up playing football. Dicking around with me, there's this white kid, Tanner, 5 of my cousins, and then 4 of their friends. In total, there were 5 girls and 6 boys. We were all around 15 or 17, by the way. That's 11 kids. We ended up just dicking the day away. So we head back to the camp and pulling out some stuff for a campfire, even though the trailers both had kitchenettes. Tanner says that his family's property sits up against my uncle's. He wants to run home and ask his dad if he can come out camping with us. My cousin Rooster says he's going to go with him since it's going to get dark soon. One of the girls also wants to tag along. So that leaves, that's 3. So that's 8 kids in this camp. Keep that in mind. Numbers are important to this story, by the way. It's about 7 o'clock, and it's starting to get pretty dark. They take flashlights and take the trail towards Tan's property. The rest of us chill. We make s'mores, drink, and kiss on the girls. About 30 or 40 minutes later, there's a smell of ozone again. You could smell it over the smell of the fire we had started. This really nasty coppery smell like right after you've had a nosebleed and it stopped. It wasn't exactly like dried blood, but it was that nasty metallic back of your throat smell. We immediately think it's some kind of electrical malfunction, or someone left a hot plate on or some shit. We search the trailers and nothing is on, and we can all smell it. All of a sudden, we can hear people booking down the path towards us, and Rooster, Tan, and the girl all come running into the clearing out of breath. And they don't even break stride. They all run into the trailer right by where the fire is. We all get the fuck out of there and into the trailers. They end up calming down. Even Rooster is crying his fucking eyes out at this point. All the while the fire is guttering lower and lower, so my cousin says fuck it, and are about to go outside to get the generator out of a shed between the trailers. Tanner goes, fuck no, lock the front door, ain't nobody else going outside. He's crying too, and his eyes are bloodshot and puffy, and his pants are dirty as shit. He goes on to tell us that they went up to his house. His father said sure he could go out camping, but to make sure they were careful on the way back, and maybe they should take one of these hunting rifles in case. Evidently, Tanner had seen something in their yard a few days before. One of their pigs had come up, ripped up and half-eaten. They assumed it was just some big cats or coyotes, even though they don't usually fuck with live animals. He had gone upstairs and packed his stuff, and told his dad they would be okay without the rifle because coyotes avoid people. So they started walking back toward where we were camping. So Rooster finally stops crying and shaking. The girl already had, but she was just staring out the window with a dumb look on her face. He says they had gotten halfway into the woods towards the camp when they started to hear shit in the forest. It was almost pitch black by this time, so they weren't sure at first what the fuck it was. The girl says that she heard something in the bushes right off the trail, and then they all beamed their flashlights over there, and there was something standing back in the woods in a little hollow. Brewster said they shouted at him and told him that he was scaring the fuck out of them and what a dick he was. He says that's when he realized that the guy was facing away from them. So they keep walking and they start smelling that nasty coppery ozone smell. They say that they look off into the forest on the opposite side, and it's a dude standing in the forest, backward slightly closer to the path. So they start power walking, and Tanner keeps going, should have taken the fucking rifle. As they're telling the story, the smell is super strong even inside the cabin. They say that after they started walking faster, a kind of low gibbering had started coming from both sides of the wood. As they started booking it back to the trailer, the girl said she had flashed her flashlight out into the woods to the side of them and had seen something jerking itself through the woods. I almost read jerking off. The gibbering just got louder and louder, and when they could see the light from our campfire, something had come out of the woods about 40 yards behind them onto the track, and they had just flat out ran as hard as they could into the trailer. So we're out in the fucking woods, and we're assuming at this point it's some rednecks or some shit trying to fuck with us. All of a sudden, my other cousin, Junior, starts going on about how he went to school with a native kid that was telling him about the goat man or some shit. We promptly tell him to shut the fuck up because we don't need any spooky talk right now. But he just keeps going on and on about how it's the fucking goat man and how we're in his woods and blah blah blah. Now at the time I had never heard of this goat man or any of that. But then a couple years ago, the year before I graduated from college, I had a Menom for a roommate, and I ended up asking him about it. And to sum it up, it's basically a fucking man with the head of a goat, and he can shapeshift, and he gets among groups of people to terrorize them. It's also supposed to be kind of like the Wendigo, and it's bad mojo to even talk about it, and even worse if you see it. Keep in mind I didn't know this back when I was 16, so my cousin's going, the goat man's going to fucking get us. The girls are all terrified, and my cousins and I are all fucking trying to figure out if it's just some hillbillies or if it's some animal. So all of a sudden the smell just goes away. Like, to this day, I haven't experienced anything like it. Like, usually smells fade away or lessen. It just literally was there 1 second, and then not another second. So it's after an hour, making around 9 or 10. We've stopped shitting bricks enough to go back outside and stoke the fire again. We figured it was just some assholes trying to fuck with us, so we don't go back home because we think if we do, they'll chase us through the woods or some crazy shit. Nothing else weird happens that night. And we stay for another night, and for the main part of the night, nothing happens. About 1 in the morning, we're outside getting drunk and telling ghost stories. As someone is finishing some too spooky story, I don't remember what it was, the smell comes back. It's so fucking strong that one of the girls literally starts vomiting. I stand up and you can actually feel how clammy the air is. I say we should get inside and this isn't right. We should have just fucking left. We all go back inside and we're standing around. My cousin just keeps going on and on about how it's the goat man. And my cousin Rooster tells him to just tries to shut him the fuck up. And all the while I'm just feeling that something is wrong and I can't figure out what the fuck it is. We end up sitting in there for a while. The smell is just as strong and we're terrified and all huddled in this camper. We end up cooking brats for everybody because nobody wants to go outside. And it's one of those packs with 4 brats. We have a total of 3 packs. That's 12 brats. I grill them up on the stove and give everybody a hot dog. I get mine. After a while, one of my cousins gets up and goes over to the pot to get another one. He starts grumbling about how I get 2 brats and everybody else only got 1, and I look at him like he's fucking stupid. I tell him that everybody only got 1 because there were only 12 brats, and if he wants more, he should open up a new pack and cook some more. That's when the girl that had been with Rooster and Tan just starts screaming, "Oh Jesus, oh Lord, get it out!" She's crying and shivering, and then it dawns on the cousin standing up, what the fuck is wrong? Me and him both glance around the room, and then I feel my heart fucking sink. I run the fuck out of the cabin, and the girl runs out with us. The trailer door is banging against the side of the trailer as everybody books out of the cabin. One of my cousin's friends asks us what the fuck is wrong. I start counting us. There's only 11 now. I shit you not, my cousin verified. There had been 12 people in the cabin. But being that everybody didn't really know each other that well, nobody had really noticed the whole fucking time that there was an extra person. And I realized earlier that I had kind of noticed something was off. You know how when you're just dicking around having a good time that you don't sweat the smallest shit and you don't always keep track of certain stuff? I'm dead sure that someone else had been in the trailer with us, and that they had been there for at least a fucking day, eating with us. What makes it worse, I could figure out which one because I don't think anyone actually ever interacted with the other person slash the goat man. The girl kept praying to Jesus, and we're all sitting outside. Eventually, we get big ass sticks and go back in the cabin, but there's nobody in there. We count again, and there's 11 people. We go back into the trailer and lock the door. We explain what the fuck happened, and the girl says that she realized too, and that he was about to say. When he was about to say something, the person sitting next to her grabbed her leg and leaned hard and leaned over toward her and said something she couldn't understand. So we were pretty much scared as fuck as we huddled together, and I fall asleep. When I wake up, the sun is just coming up, and half the people are asleep and the other half are packing our shit up. We all want to walk back home, but like 4 people want to stay up until the sun is all the way up. And some people think we're just fucking around and still want to stay at the trailers. I just want to get the fuck out of the woods. The girl's name was Kiera, the one that the goat man had touched. Anyway, I asked her if she really thinks that it was something bad, and she says she just wants to go home and she doesn't want to be out in the woods alone for another night. So we decided to split up. The 4 that want to go can go, but I have to stay because I have the keys to the cabin, and it's my uncle's and I have to lock up. I'm super pissed at this point because I feel like people aren't taking this shit seriously. I definitely didn't want to be out in the woods for another night. I spend the rest of the day trying to convince the rest of the people, now 4 girls and 4 guys, to get the fuck out of Dodge. Tanner leaves with them to go get a rifle and says he's going to be back. So there are just 7 of us left by 4 p.m. Around 5 p.m. he hasn't made it back yet. And we're getting extremely fucking antsy. And the only reason I stopped begging them to go back was because he went to get a gun. It's about 5:30 or so when the one cousin that did stay says that the girl Kiera is outside. We all look, and sure enough, she's standing by the fire pit with her back to the cabin. I'm thinking to myself, if she was so fucking scared, why the hell would she come back? And then I get this nasty feeling in my gut. Keep in mind, the whole time the coppery smell had been gone. Now I realize I can smell just a twinge of it. I say this to the rest of them and everybody, and these are the people that wanted to stay in the fucking woods after we had the goddamn goat man in our midst, is laughing at me and asking if I set this up to scare them. I'm looking at them like I'm not fucking bullshitting you right now. I asked them, why the fuck would I play that? So one of the girls goes outside to get Kiera. She gets halfway to her and stops cold. Kiera starts heaving. I don't know how the fuck to describe it. Sort of like someone with their back turned was laughing without actually making any sound. It was this fact that made me realize that there was not a fucking sound in the whole woods. It was dead silent. This was like late in September, so it was still fairly hot at the time, but it was super chilly some days too. And you could usually hear some big ass geese honking or some kind of birds or squirrels chit chatting. So I step out the door and tell her to come back in the fucking trailer right goddamn now. She backs up into the trailer and we lock the fucking door. We pulled down all the shades except one, and put a guy there in a chair to watch her. She stands there for another 20 minutes or so. The guy turns to say that she's still there, and there's a huge fucking bang on the door. We all jump the fuck up and scramble around the living room of the trailer. The banging is super fucking loud. So my cousin is holding one of the girls, and the other two are kind of giggling with nervous laughter, and me and the other two guys are shitting bricks. Then we hear Tan. He's screaming, "Let me the fuck in! Stop fucking playing!" So we go over to the door and open it, and he stumbles in with a rifle. There's nobody else outside. Evidently, he had walked up to the campsite. Nothing weird had happened in the forest, but he had seen a girl. Mind you, he said it was not Kira standing there. When he had gotten to the edge of the clearing, she had turned toward him with a slack-jawed look and just stared him down, slowly tracking him as he walked around the outside of the camp. He said it wasn't until he was almost halfway to the trailer that he realized she was getting closer to him. She had started off by the fire, and without him even seeing her move, she had been turning, inching closer. He said he just ran the rest of the way back to the cabin thinking it would open. And when he got to the door and it was locked, he turned and it was about half distance to the door. He looks around the room and gets super pale. He pulls me to the side and whispers in my ear, "You know there are only 7 of us in here, right?" I get the feeling where your stomach drops to your nuts. It had been back inside the trailer while we were sorting out who was going where, and then when we all went outside to talk earlier in the day, it had just slipped right back in. We looked out the window and there's nobody out there, so we recount everyone, and then basically I go over and ask everyone how many people were here earlier, and everybody says 8. I say, "Well, how many are here now?" They all do the count and then realize that there are now only 7 people in the cabin. So Tan had brought back a couple boxes of ammo in his rifle, and he had told his dad that there was some kind of animal in the forest because he didn't think his dad would believe him if he said it was the goat man. He says that his cousin is supposed to be coming down in a few hours, and that in the morning we can all go back to his place and his cousin will drive us home. Now I'm really fucking terrified, but I at least feel better because we can be American and shoot the fuck out of whatever it is if it comes back. But then my cousin gets in this huge argument with one of the girls because she thinks that I'm trying to be funny and prank them, and she's getting really scared and I'm not funny. He keeps telling her that I'm not that kind of person, and she says, "Well, how do we know the girl wasn't just Tanner in a wig? Or if it's really the goat man, how do we know that this is the real Tanner and that the goat man didn't kill Tanner and in the woods and take his gun?" Can't fucking talk. So we fucking get into a huge argument about this, where me and Tanner are like, we could seriously be in danger because at the very least someone has been sneaking themselves into our fucking trailer without us knowing and mingling with us, and at worst something bad is in the forest fucking with us. One of the girls is crying and saying she wants to go right now, and we're trying to tell her we shouldn't because none of us are walking through the woods in the middle of the night. At this point the sun is starting to go down and it's getting a little cloudy out. We eat something and turn on the radio for a while, but we can't really get a station out there with anything decent. So we turn it off and talk about the time that Tan's cousin shows up. He was like 19, I think. At this point, the sun is just barely over the horizon, and he has one of those heavy-duty lantern flashlights and another rifle. He walks up to the trailer and whispers to Tan, asking if he's sure that's his cousin, and he says yes. The guy looks behind him and all around the camp, then walks in. He kind of glances at us and looks a little confused. He says, "Where's your other little buddy at? I figured she would meet me up at the cabin. Is she a little slow or something?" He asked whether we had been cooking blood in the cabin because it smelled like blood and hot pans all the way up the trail. We were all like, "Fucking nope." But we asked him what the fuck he's talking about with the girl he saw. He had come down the same trail Tan had been using, and he had come up on one of Yu's guy's buddies, standing in the middle of the trail looking at him slack-jawed. He had asked her a bunch of questions, but all she did was look at him. Then she smiled at him, and he said he kept walking. She couldn't seem to keep up with him and kept lagging a little behind him. He said he asked her if she was hurt or something and if she needed any help, but she just continues to stare. Eventually, he had been walking and turned around a bend in the trail, but when he turned around and went back to see if she was okay, the trail was empty. He assumed she'd taken a shortcut through the woods to our trailer. We tell him the whole story of what's been going on. I expected him to say we were full of shit, but he just listened and then sat down on the couches in the living room. Tanner's cousin gets back to the girl. He says when she had kept trying to lag behind him, it had kind of weirded him the fuck out. So he tried to keep her in front of him, but no matter how slow he walked, she always lagged a little behind. And he smelled this nasty smell, and it got stronger as he got to the camp. Eventually, it got really strong. She had said something really low that he didn't catch, and when he had turned around, she had been right the fuck up on him, and he stepped back from her. It was at this point he asked her if she was okay, and if she wasn't, uh, him to carry her back the rest of the way, and she just kept staring. He had reached out for her, as in to grab her on the shoulder, but he must have misjudged the distance because she was off to the side where he put his hand, like she had moved while he was looking dead at her. So at this point, we know this shit's real unless Tan is playing a joke, which we can't tell. We can tell he's not because he's almost pissing his pants. So they load up their rifles, we eat some more, and we just kind of sit around until about 11. To this fucking day, every time I think about this, I really pray to God that it's some huge prank that my cousins played on me, and just never revealed so I would shit for the rest of my life. At around 11, the stink of copper turns into an actual nasty, gross blood-like smell, like cooking blood and singed hair. Tan and his cousin Reese get the fuck up and instantly grab the rifles. There's like a half knocking, half clawing at the door, and I shit you not, there's this voice that sounds like when you see those YouTube cats and dogs whose owners teach them how to talk. It says in this halting, weirdly toned voice, "Let me the fuck in, stop fucking playing." It made my fucking nuts creep up against my body, and one of the girls starts crying and calling on Jesus. It was fucking obviously not a person talking. It didn't have the right cadence, and that's some shit I never realized until that moment. But all people have a certain cadence when they talk, no matter what language. All people have a certain kind of rhythm to talking. This shit didn't have any kind of cadence or rhythm. One of those YouTube cats. That's what the fuck sounded like outside the door. So now I'm on full terror mode. We keep yelling outside, "Who is it? Stop fucking around, man." It just keeps saying, "In," or "Let me the fuck in," for almost 15 minutes. It sounded like almost just not funny. It sounded like this almost just not funny. Okay, so he added a link there. That's what you can't see. Sorry for being on a tangent, but you can't imagine how this shit sounded. Then you can't imagine how fucked up the whole situation was. So then the smell goes away for a while. And for the next hour or so, you can hear someone basically creeping around in the woods and shit. Every couple of minutes it'll come back into the door and say something. Finally, when the smell fades away, it's around 2 in the morning, right now. Reese says, "Man, fuck this," and opens the door and walks outside with his rifle. He fires a shot into the air and says something to the effect of, "In the name of Jesus Christ, go away." He fires 2 more times, and then from the woods, right up against the river across from the trailer, it sounds like something is slowly gibbering and hooting. Then it starts screaming, and it sounds almost like a woman and a cat in a bag screaming together. Like, I seriously have never heard any shit like that, and you can hear the bush over that way start to shake. Reese fires over into the tree line and starts backing into the house. We lock the door, and we can hear the shit keening and screaming. Reese says something had come out of the bushes, super low to the ground, and crawling towards the cabin. He had shot at it. Pretty much that was how the rest of the night went. It was literally screaming constantly for the next 2 hours, and we could hear shit moving out into the tree line. But it never came back up to the cabin until everyone had finally fallen asleep. Tan had been sitting in a chair watching the door with his rifle. Nobody else had heard or saw this, and he told me 2 days later after the whole thing was over. He said he had been nodding off after the screaming and noises finally stopped, and he had almost been asleep when he saw someone come out of the bathroom and then lay down in the middle of the floor and go to sleep. He had just assumed it was one of us and had nodded off. Then he realized, he said he kind of realized something was wrong, and while pretending to be sleeping, he counted us. There were 9 people in the cabin. He basically didn't want to try to shoot at the fucking thing in the cabin and have it all kill us then and there, or have Reese wake up and start shooting, then we all kill ourselves. So he just stayed awake all night, pretending to be asleep. He said sometimes it would stand up and do this weird jittery thing, or heave like it was laughing, but then it would lay back down. The story closes pretty weak because, from my perspective, nothing happened. We woke up, and I noticed that Tam was a little jittery, but and he said that he was avoiding looking at all of us. But we ate some breakfast, packed up, and started walking into the house. He stayed last in the cabin and said he'd lock up and bring me my uncle's keys just to start walking and he'd catch up, which I really didn't want to fucking do. We got a little bit up the path, and when he came running up, basically we jogged back to his house. His cousin took us home. There was a window in the bathroom. Tan had gone back to lock up and looked in there. We were too stupid to lock a screenless window. The window was fucking up when he went in there. I'm guessing it had been doing that all along, waiting up for us to fall asleep and slip up and then get in among us. It walked with us all the goddamn way back to his house. And then he said it lagged back to the back of the group and looked him dead in the eyes before walking into the fucking woods. That's it.
Wow. That's the Goat
Long
Man?
story, but fucking spoopy.
And that's all made up, right? Or is that real?
No, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Hmm.
That much detail, I can't see that being made up.
Yeah, I was thinking with all the names and everything that was said.
And like
I
that's
figured
not
the
the
Goat
first story
Man.
I've heard where what?
I figured since it was like the Goat Man, it would be like half goat, half man, or some scary shit like that.
Well, it said that the creature has a man's body and a goat's head, but it can shapeshift.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard stories before like that with uh, people being in a group of like a certain number and then realizing they had an extra person. Like that shit is terrifying.
That would be really scary.
Yeah. Ugh. Like that story still spooks me.
So what was the so at one point they had 8 people left
Okay,
and
so
they
so
recounted and they
so
had 7.
okay, so the explanation here. It starts off there are 11 people in this group. They're all
Yes.
partying, they're all having fun, and that's when they start hearing fucking noises. And the 3 people that left to go to Tanner's house were freaking the fuck out. And when 3 people leave in a group of 11, that leaves 8. They're
Yes.
all hanging out, having fun. 3 people come back. That's 11 again. They
Wait, they
all
came
go into the
back?
cabins
I
because
don't even
everyone's so scared. Yeah, the kids
Okay.
came back from Tanner's house because they heard something in the woods and were scared and ran straight into the cabin. When they came back, they go inside. They're trying to calm down. It's not working, and they decide to make brats. That was actually, it sounds like not an important part of the story, but it is because they make brats, and if you
And
listen,
there's
he said they use 3 packages of 4 brats.
yes, there's 12 and then
Everybody got a brat, which
yes.
means 12 people in the cabin.
Yes. I understood that part.
Yeah.
But it was just the
That
part
it
when
was
they said they
never.
had 8 people in the cabin.
Okay, so because they realized how many people were in the cabin and they were scared, like they ran the fuck out.
Yeah.
They go back inside, they sleep through the night, they wake up before the sun is up. And they're like, okay, look, this is fucking scary. And 4 of them were like, we want to leave, including that girl, Kiera.
Okay.
4 of them were like, we want to stay. And I guess like him and a couple other people wanted to get the fuck out. They didn't want to stay another night, but they wanted to wait until the sun came up. And he had to stay there because he had to lock up the cabins. 4 people left, including Kiera, leaving 7 people in the cabin.
Okay, yes.
However, they noticed. And actually, Tanner went with them, meaning there should have only been 6 people.
Yeah, to go to get a gun. And when he came back there was 7 in there.
Yeah, when he came, he went to go get the gun. That's when they saw Kiera outside. They started freaking out. Well, then Tanner comes back, and when Tanner came back, they realized 7 people, but there are 8 in the cabin.
Okay.
So it had slipped in again. That's when they start hearing noises. Then his cousin came in, Randy or whoever. Reese, he said his name is Reese, came in. And they're all fucking scared. And then he had seen the creature slip in from the bathroom and lay down.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I
That's
understand the story
fucked
now.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
it's
very
fucked up,
scary.
dude.
I think the part where I would
Fucking
lose it and just be like, "Oh hell no!" is when it came up to the door and started speaking like a talking cat or
Dude,
some shit.
fuck yeah,
That's
no,
where it would
fuck no,
scare
dude.
the
Like,
shit out of
nope,
me.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm fucking done. Just let me borrow that rifle.
I don't know how Tan would fucking sit there and watch it stand up and jitter for a second and then lay back down. I would have
No,
shit
dude.
myself in
No,
that
okay,
chair.
like most people don't know this about me. Not a lot of things scare me. Like that's a spooky story and it like gets to me on that psychological level, but it doesn't scare me. Like being in the situation is different. One thing that will terrify me if I see it or anything like that is non-human movement. If something moves in a way that is not human, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it does me too.
Like they had some video for some uh they had a music video that we watched one time in high school where like the people in the video were moving weird and that scared the fucking shit out of me. It's not natural. And so like when I hear stories of things doing that, no dude, no.
Like the story of the
No thank
thing that
you.
was walking with like its legs broken or whatever.
I can't find that story, but like yeah, its legs are like breaking back and forth. Like,
Yeah,
no, dude, like fuck
that type of
that.
stuff
If I
scares
saw
the hell
that,
out of me too.
I'd be fucking gone.
But
Like
that
if
like
it's
I
not
don't know
moving
how
like
they
a
would
human,
stay though. I don't know how that many people would stay when they know there was some
no, dude.
random
I'd
person,
be
a
part of the
random
group that
thing
left.
staying with them. Like when they
I'd be part of the
realized
group that left.
there's 11 of us and there was another person that came in here and ate one of our brats, I would have been like, "No, I'm good. I'm gonna leave. You guys have fun staying with whatever the fuck this is in here. I'm getting out.
Yeah, no, I'd be gone. I would be the fuck
I will
out of there,
hike out
dude.
of here."
Like,
And there was that random, I guess it was the same goat man that was
yeah,
the girl that would just stare at him and then creep up on him.
yeah. The way it describes it is they looked out the window and she was standing by the campfire with their back toward them and like so like they were like, what the fuck is she doing out there? And started freaking out. And one of the girls decided to go see her, and got about halfway to her, and she started like heaving, like she was laughing but not making any noise.
Yeah.
And so the other girl fucking turned around and went back inside. And so they started freaking the fuck out about that. And then Tanner, at the same time that that was happening, apparently Tanner was coming back and looked at the girl, and it wasn't Kiera. He saw someone different,
Yeah.
and she was looking at him fucking slack-jawed as he was trying to walk around and getting like closer to him. He was like,
What is
"Fuck
slack
no."
jawed?
Jaw hanging half open.
Oh, okay.
Think about how fucking scary that would be.
I'd be fucking freaking out.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, no, no, thank you. Goatman story. I do not want to experience this.
So on the topic of that, let's throw in a personal story here. I don't. Did I ever tell you about what happened when we were camping in California?
No, I don't
All
think you
right,
did.
get
And
ready.
even
This
if you,
this is good.
even if you did, and I'm like, oh yeah, you did, I'll just let you tell it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, it's gonna be good. So me and Caleb and his whole family and one of Derica's friends,
Mm-hmm.
who's Caleb's sister, for YouTube. Um, we all went out to California and we stayed in one of the redwoods forests. Is like the
Mm-hmm.
big basin or something like that. And we were camping out there in this little campsite, and it was on one of the like third or fourth night we were staying there. Uh, I could hear something. We are getting marshmallows for the campfire. All right, it's like throwing me off. I can like hear myself through your mic. It's like throwing
Yeah,
me
yeah.
off.
Sorry. Is that
Should
better?
uh, hold on, let me see. Yeah, that's better. All right. Oh
Sorry,
no,
my
hold on.
headphone was up next to it.
Don't don't say anything important for a second. I'm gonna turn my mic down. And whenever I'm in like the main dashboard, I can like they can't hear you. The stream can't hear you. Turn it down back here. Let's see if I can hear myself now. Hello. Nope. All right, we're good. All right. So anyway, we're getting uh, wood to put in the campfire to make s'mores. And so as I'm getting wood, there's uh, basically this big spot, this big level piece of ground that's
Hmm.
kind of like a foot where the road is. Like there's like a little like ramp down, like a foot down ramp to get to where our
Yeah.
camping spot is. And there's just woods for about, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet on both sides of us until it's another camping ground. Just all around us, there's
Yeah.
about 5 or 6 feet, or yeah, 5 or 6 feet of wood. And so there was this one little drying rack where it was two trees standing up and a tree that was that had fallen over that they put in the middle of it so you could dry your clothes on it and hang clothes up.
Hmm.
And I was going under that a piece of wood that was hanging up to grab some more sticks that was on the ground. And as I did that, I heard some like movement that was about 3 feet into the woods to the right of the camp, and it was right in front of me. And I looked up and I thought I saw something like kind of try to hide behind a tree, and like kind of shift and try to hide behind a tree. But we had been kind of telling scary stories, so I was like, nah, just my mind making up things. And
Yeah.
so I grabbed the sticks, we started the fire, and we like mid s'more making. I told everyone what I'd seen or heard, and everyone kind of started freaking out. But me and Caleb had, I think it was that night or one of the nights before, we had heard somebody next to our tent. We could hear them walking around. But the scary part was they
Hmm.
were walking like right next to our tent. Like we could see the outline and hear the footstep like literally inches from the edge of our tent. They
Yeah.
right next to our tent, right above us. And we were all in the tent together, sleeping. It was one big tent. It wasn't like someone, like one, I don't know, Caleb or someone else was walking around.
Yeah.
We were all in the same tent. So we knew for sure it wasn't one of us. And we told, I'm not gonna say their names on for YouTube purposes, of course, but we
Yeah.
told Caleb's mom about what happened. And so Caleb's mom, Derica, and her friends all went and sat in the van and decided to just stay in there and sleep in the van for that night. And from I don't know if this is true or not. I can only kind of go off their word, but what they told me was when they were out in the van that was parked facing our tent below the grounds, one of them woke up and they looked through the rearview mirror and saw someone standing behind a van looking down at our tent for like a solid 20 minutes before going away.
Oh God, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck
It
that.
was pretty freaky when we heard that. We were
As
like, oh.
someone who grew up camping frequently, like that's fucking scary. I've been in that situation a couple times. Uh, this shit, scary shit like that happening. I thought of two really good like personal stories that both ended up not being anything paranormal, but like
Yeah.
scary situations to be in. And the
Okay.
first one, because it's short and sweet, is back when I was dating my first girlfriend. Uh, we had been out for the night, and when we first started dating, my parents were gone for like a week, and I'd taken one of my sisters with them. And my other sister didn't care what the fuck we did. So there was one night we had gone to a party, I think, and I don't know why, but for some reason I couldn't go home. I don't remember what the situation was. I just knew for some reason we both couldn't go home. We decided we wanted to spend more time together. Either way, um, you know, Aunt Karen's house.
Yes.
You know the park and all that next to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know the church right there.
Yes.
Okay, so we go to that church parking lot because I'm like, what's a safe place that nobody's really around that we can sleep in the car overnight together? And so I took us to that church. So we're laying in the back of her mom's Suburban, and we're sleeping back there. Took forever to get to sleep. I'm finally asleep, and I kid you not, like she wakes me up, shaking me, and just like shouting at me. And she's like, Nate, wake up, wake up. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What's going on? She was like, I swear I just saw someone looking at us from outside.
Oh God.
She's like, I swear people were like staring at us outside. And they're like trying to get in and get to us. And I'm like, what the fuck? Turns out I was actually dreaming.
Oh,
I woke up and she was still asleep, and I was like, dude, that was the most fucking terrifying dream I've ever
that would
had. Like,
scare the shit out of me. At least it
because
wasn't
it
like
was so,
to the point of a
yeah.
dream where like something actually happened. Like you saw more people come back and look through the window, and you saw their
Oh, that would have
faces or
been
some
nuts,
shit.
dude. But like, we did, like it was so, it was in that moment realism of her like shaking me awake. We're still in the same spot in that dream, and she's telling me people are looking in, and I can see people like looking through the window. And like, I sat up, and like as I did, I woke up and realized that she's still asleep next to me. I was like, dude, that was fucking terrifying. I told her about it afterwards, and she was like, that's scary.
You remember the dream I
Please,
told you about
please
that I had?
creepify me. Which one?
The one where I woke up and there was like this black mass standing over me when I was sleeping on the
I
couch.
think so, but refresh my memory.
I was just gonna say that this one was like really realistic for me. Like I thought 100% it was like for real happening. But I was
Yeah.
sleeping on the couch at my dad's house because
Hmm.
I don't know, I couldn't go to sleep in my bed. So I was like, try to sleep on the couch. And so I had one lamp on in the living room because it was a real dim lamp. And I don't know, there's something about my living room. All right, it's fucking spooky. All right, so I always keep at least one light on because it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I was going to sleep. I had a bunch of things like set up in certain ways, like books on the coffee table. Everything was set up in like a very certain way. And I had this
Hmm.
dream where I woke up, but I was on the other side of the living room, looking at my body on the couch sleeping,
What the fuck?
and everything was exactly like picture perfect, exactly the way it was when I went to sleep. The light was on, the books were on the table, were exactly stacked the
Hmm.
way they were. Everything was on the everything that was on the floor, like covers and blankets, were exactly the way they were. And I looked next to me, like to the left of me, and this like 8 foot tall, like just black moving mass. It just like standing next to me, and
Hmm.
then like an arm comes out from it and points to my body that was sleeping. And I was like, what the fuck? And so
Huh.
I like slowly looked down his arm onto my body, and there was another like 5 foot small little black mass that was bent over at like a 90-degree angle, hanging over my face that was sleeping.
Hmm.
And I was just like, at that moment, I was starting to have like a fucking heart attack. I was just like, shit, wake up,
Okay.
wake up.
Could you move
I couldn't.
at all? Could
No,
you
I
feel like
couldn't.
you could wake up?
I did feel like I could wake up, and I did. Like when I saw it, I just woke back up and was like,
Eventually,
oh
but like
shit.
you felt like stuck, right?
Yeah, I was stuck. I couldn't
It
move in
might
the
have been
dream.
sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis? Like just like
That
where I
might have
couldn't.
been. Do you know what sleep paralysis is?
It's for the most part, but refresh my
I
memory.
think that was a minor case of sleep paralysis, but it could have been something else entirely. I
Like,
think, I personally think like sleep paralysis is a real thing, but I also think it's halfway bullshit because like we never know. Half the time people could be saying, "Oh, this thing happened to me," and it's sleep paralysis, but it could be the real deal. And half the time they could be like, "This thing happened to me, and it could be the real deal," but half the time it's sleep paralysis.
huh? Okay. But what
And I'll
sleep
I'll
paralysis?
get to more on that. Like, was that the end of it?
No, at the end of it, what I was gonna say was that I woke up and
Hmm.
I threw myself off the couch, didn't turn the light off, didn't grab any blankets. I just ran straight to my fucking room and locked my door. And was just like,
Yeah,
fuck this. I'm never sleeping on the couch again. I never did.
yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't
pretty much the
blame
end of it.
you. No, I'll get back to more on sleep paralysis in a case that could have been sleep paralysis. In that it's an example, and you know
Hmm.
plenty about this already, but for YouTube's sake. But it's an example. But to continue on, the second thing that happened to me that wasn't actually paranormal, but was a scary situation to be in, and like actually had a whole bunch of people scared. And I know I've told you this story too, but so in 2011, I was a camp counselor and a camp staff for a Boy Scout camp out in Post, Texas. And we're doing a camp out there. and all the people under 18 have to share this massive cabin that has a lot of bunk beds in it. Well, the first night we're out there, two of my friends, whose names I won't state, uh, we'll call one of them by his camp name, which was Rachel, because we had two people with the same name in the camp, and they're like, "How are we going to tell them apart?" And he goes, "Call me Rachel."
Well, that's
So
a
we'll
weird
call
name
him
to call a
Rachel.
guy.
I know he just totally he decided to say that, and that's what we do. We called him Rachel, so we'll call him Rachel for this sake,
Okay.
and we'll call the other guy. I'll just give people different names. So his other friend was Bob. So Rachel and Bob are sharing a bunk the first night that we're there. And the way it's set up is if you walk in the cabin, there's bunks on both sides in a row, and there's one that's kind of shifted up against the wall in a different way from the rest of them, because the rest of them, the feet stick out towards the middle, and this one, the side was facing the middle. And it was all the way down at the other end of the cabin facing another door. Well, I'm on like the second bunk on the right, and they're on the first bunk on the left when you come in. They're sharing that bunk together, and at that campsite during the Days of the Pioneers, there was actually a little baby that died of yellow fever, lived for only a day. And so they start talking shit about that baby. And they just straight up like, Rachel says, Bob said something ridiculous about the baby, and Rachel goes, "Shut up, man! I hope that baby comes and rapes you in your sleep." And they're just being fucking ridiculous, right?
Do you know what
Well,
Bob said
about
about the baby?
something stupid like, I don't even remember. It was something bad, but
Okay.
I honestly can't remember. All I know is that he was talking bad about it, and then Rachel said something just as bad about it, which was, "I
Okay.
hope it comes and rapes you in your sleep." About 2 a.m., I kid you not, on the dot, their bunk starts violently shaking and they're screaming.
Jesus.
And they're freaking out, and everybody in the cabin wakes up, and we all see their bed violently shaking. And so it finally stops after a minute, and they get up, and, part of us are like, oh, Bob or Rachel was probably shaking the bed trying to be funny. They get up and they're like, I'm sleeping on different bunks. So Rachel goes all the way to that side-facing bed at the end of the bunk and starts sleeping on the bottom bunk over there. And Bob slept next to me on a different bunk, like right next to mine. So because they traded, two other guys, we'll call them Mike and Jerry, went and got on the bunk over there and took their place. And I think Mike was on the bottom bunk and Jerry was on the top, which is important, I promise. We all go back to sleep. About 4 a.m. on the dot again, like 4 a.m. on the dot, the bed starts shaking again. And they're freaking the fuck out and screaming, and we all wake up and start screaming. And it's just chaos until the bed stops shaking. Jerry gets pissed, takes the stuff off, takes the mattress off the top bunk, and puts it directly in front of mine. Like, across from mine at the foot of the bed, across from ours. And starts sleeping on the floor. One night goes by, nothing happens. That was Monday night, all the shaking started happening.
Okay.
Wednesday night, for some dumb reason, we all decided to watch a scary movie. And granted, the movie we watched was stupid. I am a scary movie aficionado. This was the stupidest movie I've ever seen. It was the Last Exorcism. A bunch of pussy boys are terrified of this movie. They think it's so scary. We go all the way through. We watched the whole thing. People outside were fucking with us the whole time, running knives on the window and knocking. Every time they would get scared by something in the movie, and every time they would get scared by something that the dudes were doing outside, or knock on the door or whatever, they would get up and run screaming back into the main part of the bunk area. Now Rachel is sleeping by at that bunk by the door, and every time the door swings open, it hits his bed and wakes him up. So he's getting pissed. Finally, the movie's over. Rachel's pissed. He's like, if one of y'all hits my fucking bed again, I swear I'm gonna kill you. It's like, it won't happen again, won't happen again. I'm not even doing it, so I'm just like, whatever. Um, so then we decided to, for some reason, watch special features. Me, personally, I believe certain things. I believe demons speak Latin. I believe you can speak to demons using Latin. I believe there are also certain things you don't pray to. So in the fucking special features of that movie, there's a prayer to the angel Michael, praying for protection. And already I'm like, that seems off. That's not right. Something you don't pray to angels.
Hmm.
And these dumbasses read the prayer out loud in English, and there's a Latin version that they immediately start trying to read too. I fucking clicked out of it before they could even get halfway in. I was like, that's not right. You don't pray to angels. Don't read that shit. You don't know what it actually says. And so they're like, oh, you're being such a pussy, blah, blah, blah. So they decided to watch a special feature called Real Demons. Like, real accounts of exorcism and all this stuff.
Yeah.
They load that shit up, and the first thing you see on the screen, it says, our religious consultants would like to inform you that watching this video can cause unwanted demonic entities and experiences. If you do not want to be or if you do not want a demonic encounter, do not continue watching this film, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, one of the dudes is like, did you see what it said? Did you see what it said? It causes demons to come out, blah, blah, blah. They're all fucking arguing. As they're arguing, the video starts, and he freaks out so bad, he slams the laptop we're watching it on shut, flips it over, rips out the battery and the audio cables, and runs screaming into the next room, inevitably hitting Rachel's bunk.
Yep.
Rachel wakes up. He's pissed. We all get into bed. We're all like, dude, you fucking idiot. You woke Rachel up. Rachel's like, why are we screaming? Why are we doing this? Oh, by the way, I should mention the person that ripped out the fucking shit and, like, freaked the fuck out was Bob. Bob's a little pussy.
Fucking Bob.
But anyway, so Bob, we're all getting to bed, and Rachel's asking Bob, like, what was so scary? What are you so terrified of? He's like, video, man, we're so scared. And Rachel's like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch that video. Who's with me? And like a couple people were like, yeah, we'll go watch it. I was like, dude, nuh-uh, I'm not fucking with no demons. Rest of the cabin, everyone that didn't want to watch it got up and went into the handicap bathroom and waited until it was over.
What?
I know, dude. We were fucking kids.
You went to the fucking bathroom?
Yeah, that was the
Go
only
to the
place
bathroom.
we
The
could go
demons
that we
can't
weren't
hurt us
outside.
there.
Yeah, that was the only place we could gather outside that wasn't like outside. Like we needed another place to be in because we were all pussies. But so we all wait into the bathroom until they come get us and tell us it was over and that it was stupid. Apparently, I don't know. I still haven't watched it to this day. I should go back and see it, but see how dumb it was. Anyway, we all get back into bed. We're all talking about it. They're telling us what it was about. We're all kind of laughing and joking, and I pay attention. I was like, mind you, I was watching Rachel, paying attention to him, and he's up saying, "Okay, I'm gonna go take a piss, and then we're all gonna go to bed, right?" And we're all like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "Good." As he was saying this, he was kind of standing by the door. I was like, "Whatever." Now the door to this fucking room, mind you, it swung open easy and hit the bed because there's no like actual locking mechanism on it. Like you can push the door into its spot, but the little thing doesn't click into the latch.
Okay.
So it's loose. Or it'll stick because of like the door frame shape, but it doesn't latch. So the easiest thing pushes it open. Now those cabins had AC, so when the AC kicked on, sometimes the door would open. Rachel comes back to bed. We're all laying there. We're all starting to go to sleep. And then Rachel just screams, "What the fuck is that?" I kind of get up and look. Everyone's up and looking. And the door is slowly creaking open. I'm like, it's the fucking AC, man. Like, the AC kicks on all the time, and that opens the door. The door swings open at about halfway and slams into their bed. Everybody is immediately screaming. I am off the bed and under it.
Oh God.
I'm just under the bed, like hiding. And Everyone's freaking the fuck out. I'm just like, these dudes unleashed a demon. Like, we're fucking dead. Like,
We're
thanks a lot,
fucking
guys.
dead.
And so they start screaming at Rachel to shut the door, and they're like, Rachel, Rachel, shut the door. And he's like, that's not me, man. I'm scared, you know.
Yeah.
So they scream at the dude up on top. His name, for the no, all intents and purposes, is Zach.
Okay.
And they're like, Zach, shut the door. So he rolls over and kicks it, and it starts to shut. And gets over to the point where it shuts. And it actually sticks. And we're like, okay, oh, thank God, Why were we freaking out? Immediately, the door jerks back open. Like, it's stuck for a good, 5 seconds. And it jerks back open. Everybody is just fucking terrified. That dude, that door swung back and hit the bed. He screamed like a little girl and rolled over to the wall and, hugged the wall. We're all terrified. We don't know what's happening. We're all shivering. Now, I know you know this person, so I'm going to use their name, sorry. But Logan Willoughby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Logan's on my top bunk at this camp. He's thinking he's going to be the little hero. Actually,
Logan.
I don't even mind. I don't even mind sharing this. Now I think about it, because you know this person, or if you don't, no, you know them. You've met them a couple times.
Yeah, I know them.
My sister's fiance.
Oh, yeah.
My
Okay.
sister's fiance.
Wait, he was there?
Chris. Yeah, he was there. He was the one that had moved his mattress on the floor in front of my bunk.
What?
Yeah, Chris
he was
moved
who,
his...
Mike or Jerry?
He was Jerry.
Okay.
He
Wow.
moved his fucking
I didn't know he was there.
mattress in front of... Yeah, he was there. Moved his mattress in front of the bunk across from me, so he's laying on the ground over there. Logan thinks he's going to be a little hero and save everybody from this demon coming to rape us all. He thinks, okay, I'm going to jump off the bed and go slam the door shut.
It lands on
He
Chris.
jumps off the bed, hits the moving ceiling fan,
Oh my god.
and lands on top of Chris.
Oh my god.
So he hears, oh! Both of them screaming. I'm like, tell Chris. And then finally, after laying in agony for a few seconds, he gets up and slams the door shut and moves the trunk in front of it so it won't open again. We're all still super scared. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Chris is in pain. It's all bad. And then Logan's like, wait, what the fuck? He looks, and we're watching him, and he starts touching something by the door. There's a string wrapped around the door handle.
Oh my god.
Sneaky ass Rachel, while he had been telling us he was going to pee, had been secretly tying a string around the door handle.
What a cunt.
Then he went to pee, came back, got into bed, waited till everyone was sleeping, and started pulling on the door with the string, scaring us all.
Hold on, can you stop
To
for a
this
second?
day. What?
Can you stop for a second?
What?
Is it raining out? Dude, I hate when we're talking about something scary and I hear a noise and I'm like, no, I'm just
Oh, I know,
tripping,
it's the
dog.
worst. It's the
Don't worry
worst,
about it.
dude.
But there's this noise, it's raining. I can hear something hitting my bed or the top of my roof or something.
The window?
Yeah, I just checked my window.
You don't
no
lose
raindrops.
points for turning the lights on.
What?
You don't lose points for turning the lights on.
Oh, dude, the lights have been on since you were telling the fucking goat man story. You turned them bitches
No
back on.
way.
I was freaking the fuck out.
Goatman's scary, dude.
The goat man fucking freaked me out.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
want
one.
to see if
But no, so, yeah. Yeah, I would, because I remember what you told me about the house the other day.
Dude, no. Seth is passed out on the couch.
Shit,
Everyone's
dude.
asleep. Can you not hear that?
You need to invest in a shotgun. No, I couldn't hear nothing.
Dude, it is fucking loud. Loud, dude. It sounds like
Well,
there's
shit,
rain
hold your
hitting my
mic up
roof.
to it.
I don't know where it's
Wherever
coming
it
from.
is.
It sounds like it's under my bed or on it sounds like where it's in my bed area.
Go check.
Yeah, hold on. I want to put the mic down and see if it's
Hold
raining
on,
or
hold
something.
on, hold on. I'm having to turn like the game off so I can hear past the music and shit.
It's not like loud enough to where I think you could possibly hear it, but I can try. Hold on. Let me shut my door. It's coming from like near the center of my room where my bed is at.
Oh my god.
Best way I can describe it is it literally sounds like rain is hitting the outside of the house, but it's not raining. I just checked. What's
Now
that
I kind of
sound?
hear something. Hold on.
Holy shit, dude.
No, I don't hear it anymore.
Holy shit, it's getting louder. It sounds like this fucking like, dude, what the fuck? Hold on, hold on. I have to mute the mic and put it down. Something freaky going on. Hold on.
Don't mute the mic. I need to be able to hear, dude. What the fuck? Guys, I have no clue what's going on. Whoever watches this in the future or watches it now, I don't know what's happening. Weird shit always follows Chase.
Dude, no, fuck this, dude. Holy fucking shit,
What?
I'm freaking the fuck out, dude.
What's happening?
I put my mic down and I went out into the living room, checked all the windows. It's not raining. And as I was out there, I fucking like I heard footsteps. Like the way my house is built up, you can hear footsteps
Mm-hmm.
all the way across the house with all the doors closed. Like the wood
Yeah.
is so like messed up that you can hear like this
Yeah.
footstep. And I started hearing footsteps like going through the middle of the fucking house at me while I was in the kitchen. And I turned around and everyone's
No.
asleep. Holly's asleep, Seth's asleep, the baby's asleep. Everyone is asleep. And I heard something fucking coming at me. And I turned around
Oh god.
and they have these candle holders they made out of little shit, what do you call them? Like baking utensils?
Yeah.
Whisk. They have whisk they turned upside down to hold candles. And they were fucking moving on the wall that I was standing next to. Holy
Oof.
shit, dude. Whew. Like I'm about to have a goddamn heart attack.
Every
Whew.
house, man. Every house. There's
I
always
turned around
something.
and it was fucking shaking. Holy
I heard
shit,
something
man.
just now. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was my door. I was shutting my bathroom door
Oh.
and closing it because it was
Okay.
fucking freaking me out. But dude, I could like, I was listening for the tiniest little sounds and I just heard these footsteps come like walking
Dude,
through the
no.
goddamn house at me. And I turned around and
No.
the things were shaking.
Oh god.
I was like, no,
Fuck
no, no,
that.
fuck this, and just shut my door.
It's always something at your house, man.
I don't hear anything anymore though. After that, like I don't hear anything.
They just wanted you to know it was there.
Here, hold on, let me see if you can hear this. Hold on, listen to this.
Did you record it?
Can you hear the creaking?
No.
Damn it, I like put it next to the floor so you could hear it. But like there's vents in the house, and when you step on them,
Oh,
like
when
that's
you
where.
were you walking and like trying to make it creak?
Yeah.
Try again.
Alright, hold on. I'm like putting it next to the floor.
Yeah. No, your mic doesn't pick it up.
Could you hear any of that?
No, your mic doesn't pick it up.
Damn. Yeah, it's like these little like. and you can like hear the sound of the carpet being pushed down.
The good thing is like I have a cat in my room 24/7, so anytime I hear a noise, I can almost directly know it's the cat. Like
I have
by a
nothing, dude.
simple quick look, I'm like, oh, it's the cat. You
And
don't
the
have
scariest
anything like
part
that.
was the AC was on, so it's making this like
Yeah,
real, like kind of
low
quiet
growling
sound of
noise
like
that it
this.
always does. Yeah.
And as soon as I was in the kitchen, it turned off. It's like just and like completely quiet. And that's when
Yeah,
I
I
heard the
hate when
footsteps in
ACs
the
do that.
house coming up
Yeah.
behind me, and I turned around and the things were like on the wall moving.
Oh, dude, no.
God, that
God,
scared the
every
shit out of
house
me.
you go to, man. Every house.
I think it's alright because I don't hear anything anymore.
Yeah. No, something I was gonna say, like you know how earlier I was talking about, like I know the difference between sleep paralysis and like real things happening.
Yeah.
Which you know this story, obviously. You've been there to experience some of the after effects that we tried and all that stuff. But so I was a junior in high school, and it was about I want to say like 2:30 in the morning. I've been having this terrifying dream about this little girl chasing me all around my house. Little girl, probably about 11 years old. She had a fucking like a white dress on and like black hair in her eyes and stuff. Couldn't really see her face. Almost like Samara from The Ring, but not really. Like that's a little
Hmm.
cliche, you know.
Okay.
But I saw her chasing me around my house and stuff in this dream, and I woke up and I was terrified. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I know I was awake because I turned over, got a drink of water, looked at the time. It's like 2:30. I was terrified, so I was like, I need to put something on so I don't, I can fall asleep to or just listen
Yeah.
to and not be scared.
Yeah.
And like at the time, I was in the habit of downloading TV shows and stuff to my phone or iPod so I could like have something playing while I sleep. Uh, which I'll talk about that in a second because I just thought of a good string on that. Um, and I put something on, got my drink. I was ready to roll over, go back to sleep. I lay down and I look up at the pop-up closet that I had built across from my bed, and that little girl sitting on top of my pop-up closet, watching me.
I think you told me that one before.
Mm-hmm. And I immediately pull my covers over my head, and I'm terrified. I'm hoping she'll be gone by the time I pull them off. And I pull them off, and she's gone. Nothing really happens. I have some nightmares about here and there. Fast forward 2 years to 2013. I know it's about March because I had just come home from a concert. I'm talking to my youngest sister about this. My middle sister was somewhere else, and she had been in her room, and I noticed that like she was sleeping in my sister's bed, which she only does when she's scared. And she's drawing pictures, but she also has the closet light on and every light on in the room off and the TV on. But the closet light's on. So I'm talking to her about the show and telling her how fun it was and asking her what she's drawing and talking to her and stuff. And she interrupts me like halfway and she's like, call me crazy, but I kept seeing this little girl in the closet. And almost to a T describes what she looks like. And of course,
Yeah.
I tell her it's only your imagination. You're just seeing things. Your mind's playing tricks on you. Don't be worried. Inside, I am dying because that is fucking terrifying to hear that my sister confirmed it. And every once in a while, we catch the glimpses of the little girl running around throughout the house. And when finally I moved into the room my parents had been sleeping in, my parents and I kind of switched rooms. And so I was staying in my parents' old room. And from the first night I moved in there, I was having nightmare after nightmare about that little girl.
Hmm.
And she would not leave me alone. And so one night, like, I guess I got the feeling that she was scared of the closet or something. But I left my closet open one night and I had no nightmares. And I started leaving my closet open and I stopped having nightmares completely. To the point that if I started to have even the beginning of a nightmare, like I could tell, like, it was gonna be a nightmare of some sort. I would wake
Wait,
up
wait.
immediately before anything scary could happen. Like, it almost gave me powers to stop nightmares from happening. Even weirder was like I could almost tell when this little girl was walking around my house because I'd be walking down the hall and feel a cold breeze pass me or something, or I'd feel just a chill go down my spine, like, oh, something's here. I just know, like, if I act scared, it's gonna scare me. But if I'm like, oh, that's just her, it's not gonna bother me. And like, I hear noises all the time, but like, it stopped bothering me after a while. Of course, then we had a wild night at my house where we were doing all kinds of crazy shit, ghost hunting, and getting all kinds of scary shit happening.
Yeah.
But and we made contact with her, I think, a couple times. But I didn't think she was there to hurt me.
Yeah.
And even now,
Oh yeah.
like, I still get nightmares, but most of the time now, like, I swear a nightmare will start to happen and I can wake up. So, like, in a situation where I would have, like, had that nightmare and then woken up and, like, seen that girl and felt like I couldn't move, that could have been sleep paralysis. But seeing her other places and having Erin tell me that she saw her, like, oof,
Yeah. I would say one of the
fuck that,
scariest
dude.
things is seeing something that's like non-human or something you think it's a ghost, and someone else being there and confirming,
Also seeing it.
also seeing it.
Yeah,
Dude, oh my
yeah.
god, man. I don't know if I can do this, dude.
What?
In the middle of your fucking story, dude. I promise, like I hate. I feel like people are gonna think I'm making this shit up. But I swear to God, I heard a fucking big ass like thing, some type of noise outside, and I heard like
Hmm.
plastic being like this. I heard like this right outside my door.
Can't really hear that, but I know what you're doing.
Yeah, like I heard like plastic wrapping being like
Oof.
moved with
No, dude.
and messed.
You should probably buy a gun.
Fuck, dude. And the worst part
Invest
is
in
I
a
don't have
weapon.
any of my like ghost hunting type equipment.
Yeah,
Like
I
all
know. Like, that's the
gone.
part that sucks. Like, most people in our situations would be like, oh, get me the fuck out. I'm not staying. And we're like, dude, why don't we have anything to capture
Yeah,
this?
the worst
Like,
part, I want to like capture these fucking noises and send them to you.
yeah.
But
So
all my stuff's
I
like,
know you're not. I know you're not crazy. I know this shit's happening because I know how it is around you. But oh, something I was going to talk about that I thought of like while I was telling
holy
that
shit,
story.
dude.
What?
Holy shit. I fucking saw something moving at the edge of my bed, and I went to go look at it, and it was a fucking cockroach climbing out of the vent. Oh
Oh
shit.
Jesus, dude.
Fucking
Maybe that's what you
Christ.
heard earlier.
I fucking hope so. Got the, got the little bastard.
Not good. Flush him.
Go flush him down the toilet.
You can't come back if you flush him. But no, something I thought of like while I was telling that story. The reason I have to sleep with like sound and stuff, like I don't know if you do this. I know other people who do it that I've talked to before, but I don't know if you do it. Do you sleep with something going like music or the TV, or
Uh,
do you just sleep really quiet?
I used to when I was still like all throughout school until senior year in high school. I used to have to
Hmm.
leave my TV on or music plugged in. I
Yeah.
don't anymore.
Why?
My dad's kind of a dickhead, and he was
Oh, so
like,
he kind of made you get out of it.
yeah, anytime he would hear the TV on or something playing, he would come in there and tell me to turn it off and go to sleep. So
Yeah,
I kind
okay.
of
So
broke the habit.
my dad kind of did the same things and like kind of breaks you out of habit, but like my parents finally just stopped, bothering me about it. But like I thought about the reason I started doing that, and I remember even at a young age having to do this shit is because like I think for one, our family is so perceptive to shit like this happening all the time that like like we are super perceptive to shit,
Yeah.
like paranormal shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact, like as a kid, I would have to like turn on the radio and like leave CDs playing and stuff overnight because I would hear noises all the time. and not just like little like noises like, oh, the wind's blowing and something's doing. No, I would hear like full on like taps and knocks and like voices and
Footsteps
shit and footsteps. Yeah,
all the time.
and
Yep.
like it freaked me out so bad that I started having to sleep with stuff on. And I think even to this day, I still do it because I know I will still hear that shit. Like, I think half the reason I have nightmares when I don't leave a TV on is because I'm hearing shit and it's picking up in my brain that I'm hearing shit.
Yeah.
And my brain's twisting it to another way, but I know I'm hearing stuff.
For me, I still can't go to sleep. Like just lay down and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
What I have to do in order to block all those thoughts out of something like listening and hearing something creepy while there's nothing playing is I have
Yeah.
to get on my phone and view, like, I don't know, any social media to the point where I'm like falling asleep holding my phone,
Yeah.
and then I turn my phone off, roll over, and go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
think that helps, but nah, man, like, I even hear it, like, subconsciously. Like, I don't focus and listen, I just hear it.
yeah,
And it, like, fucked me up so bad as a kid that even to this day, I'm like, I have to leave something playing. Now, it's funny because you could say that's all in my head, and there are ways that, like, I can say, yeah, you're probably right, because, like, if I'm sleeping with another person in the room, or if I'm sleeping, like, near another person, or even sharing the bed with someone, even if I hear it, it doesn't bother me as much. But like, I'm more comfortable with the person being there. If I'm by myself, I have to leave something on. But like, when I was living with Susie, uh, I didn't have to leave the TV playing. We would just go straight to sleep because
good.
I had her there and I was fine and I knew it. Even though like no like, and trust me, that didn't stop things from happening. Because I swear, one night I was laying in bed with Susie. This was when shit was starting to devolve and we were starting to get on the edge of our breakup and me kicking her out and her being a bitch. But um, like I still 100% think that like something influenced her to change
Yeah,
because I don't know if you ever met her or remember seeing us together,
no.
but if you remember at Thanksgiving, she could not keep her fucking hands off me. Like even though like the whole family was in the room, she would like kiss me and shit.
Huh.
Like she could not keep her fucking hands off me. And at the minute, not the minute, like for a couple days it was fine, but once we lived together, she started changing, like took a turn for the worst, and just immediately stopped being affectionate with me, and like just started getting weird, you know.
Hmm.
And I remember one night when it was real bad. I'm laying there, I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, why is she acting like this? Like, we've never been like this. Like, she used to want to be around me all the time and like just love on me and shit. I looked up in the corner of our room, and the lights were off and stuff. And we didn't have any like lights on that you would see anything. Like there
Yeah,
was a little bit of a street light or a courtyard light outside our window, but not enough to do more than like cast a little tiny bit of light to where your eyes could adjust and see. One corner of the room, up in the ceiling, was completely black. Just a black mass up in the corner of the room. And I remember looking at that thing and just feeling like, holy shit, what is that?
yeah.
And like thinking that's the thing that is like tearing us apart. That is the thing that is influencing her to act like this, and I don't know how to get rid of
Hmm.
it. And like, the more fucked up thing is, while I think it influenced her, because I'll just come out and say I think it was demonic. I think that was demonic oppression of sorts, kind of tearing that happiness apart.
Yeah,
Because like, dude, we were fucking happy. Like, she she bought me shit. Like I still have the chain from the necklace that she bought me. That she got our names engraved on a necklace and gave it to me as a gift. And for her to just change like that, like that's demonic oppression in my opinion. And seeing that black mass, like that doesn't change that. But the thing that sucks is I swear it wasn't something she brought with her. It was something attached to me oppressing her. Because when I kicked her out and when she left, I was still plagued by something in that apartment. And like you would have thought I was a fucking lunatic if you had come into that apartment after I kicked her out, because I had fucking like all kinds of things set up throughout the house. I don't know if you know what a devil's trap is.
No.
Supposedly, a devil's trap is used to trap demons. So if they cross or break the circle of the devil's trap, they're trapped inside of it until you get rid of them. And I had them drawn all over that fucking apartment, over the doorways, over everything.
I actually do know what one of those
Just like,
are.
yeah, just trying to get it to leave me the fuck alone. And I was
Well,
like burning things of hers, and like just like I was desperate, dude. Like that, whatever it was bothering me.
hmm.
The only relief I had, because I didn't sleep in that apartment after she left. I slept sometimes, but most times I was up until like early in the morning, and I could only sleep when it was daylight. Like whatever it was bothering the fuck out of me. The only relief I ever had was when Cody was over there. That's another person, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, the only way I know what one of those is because one of my friends, I used to hang out with him a lot. He lived down the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one, I don't know if I told you this, but we almost did a Ouija board with before my mom came in, just right at the start.
Yeah, you did tell me that one, but
Yeah, I'm not gonna say his name, but I went over to his house and we were constantly trying to draw spirits,
mm-hmm.
and eventually we did. Something happened. He never told me, but one of the days I went over there to hang out, his mom was like, "No,
Mm-hmm.
no, you can't hang out here." And I was like, "What? Why?" And then he finally came up to me and just told me something had happened. Like he was like trying to call out spirits on his own or something, and something had happened. But she came out there with chalk in front of the house on the brick and started drawing one of those. Started
Devil's
like
traps.
writing stuff on the ground and on the brick above the
Yeah,
doorway.
yeah. It's like the pentagram, but it's not. I think it's not upside down, and it has
Huh.
uh, what is it called? Enochian writing all around the edges of the pentagram.
I don't think it was one of those, but she was just like writing stuff.
Yeah. No,
It
Devil's
wasn't in
Trap is like a
English,
pentagram with
but
Enochian writing around the
yeah, no, it wasn't
stars,
like a
like the
whole
star points.
pentagram or anything. But she was just writing like wording that wasn't English
Yeah.
on the brick and everything. That was one of the most surreal moments for me. Really
Yeah.
realizing like how dangerous what I was doing was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why to this day I still never have touched a Ouija board. Never will. There was times I've gotten close, but I've still managed to come to my senses and be like, no. No, man. It's just not a good idea. I don't know, man. We both had some pretty weird shit happen to us.
But what you were saying earlier about how like our family, what did you say? Our family has.
Super perceptive
Oh,
to fucking
yeah,
paranormal shit, yeah.
that's true. But, what I was thinking was that 90% of every scary, paranormal, or just horrifying activity that I've ever had,
Mm-hmm.
like 90% of them was with Caleb.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense because that's where it all started. The first one I ever had in my old house, where all like the TVs were turning off and on, the radios would turn on,
Yeah.
they would be unplugged, the lights flickered. When that had happened, it was just me and him. We were really young, probably like
Yeah.
6 or 8 or somewhere in there. And
Yeah, no, I think it's because like I mean, you know how his mom is uh with all of her religious stuff,
yeah,
and her sister's the same way. Uh I honestly believe that no one is that super religious without having done something in the past that they're trying
yeah.
to like make up for.
Actually, there was something that happened with his mom that I had found, and he might even watch this and like call me or text me about this. But
Yeah.
actually, no, I don't think he was there. Just one of the times when we were younger, probably like I don't know, anywhere from 8 to 10, and I was hanging
Hmm.
out at his house. I walked back into his room, and his mom had her door kind of creaked open, and
Yeah.
she was laying in bed, just like bawling her eyes out, and was like screaming, asking the Lord for forgiveness something she
Oh,
had
it's not
done.
the first time I've had the dude. I woke up in the middle of the night one time at their house, and I was on the couch, and I was just completely like rock solid, not moving because I was so fucking scared because she was in the kitchen, like praying in tongues and like begging the Lord for forgiveness for something, like in the kitchen at the table, and like doing it loud, and I was just like, oh my Lord, what is that? And you don't know about it because you weren't there, but there was one time she was actually watching us. That my parents were gone, and she came over to watch us and brought Caleb and Derica, and she like trapped me in a chair, like put her hands on the armrest in front of me, and like prayed for like 20 minutes with me
Yeah.
just stuck in the chair, unable to move.
She did that for me too, but it was only when I was hurt, when I hurt myself.
Yeah, just I don't know, but like yeah, she
Yeah, I
has
see what you're
done some
saying.
scary shit as far as that stuff.
I
Like
see what you're saying with that. Like people that are that religious
they've
feel
done
like they
something in the
have,
past that
yeah,
they're trying to make up for. Yeah, that they're
like
trying to cover.
they need something to. They feel they have the need to make up for something.
Yeah, and like yeah, because like honestly, like in their house, I've always felt unsafe in that way. Stayed over there many, many times, even with all y'all, and even then, I still feel weird being over there.
Yeah, I've never felt to the
And
point where like I was scared and I couldn't move. Like I never felt like
like you
super
wanted to
scared over
leave or
there.
something.
But it was
Yeah.
only when I was in the house alone that I always felt like there
Well,
was something else in there with me.
like okay, like you and I have obviously stayed over there with Derica and Caleb and my sisters
Yes.
many, many times in the past. Like more times than I could even think of or count. We've all been there at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's never been the feeling of, oh my God, we gotta leave. We gotta go home now.
Yeah.
It's a feeling of uneasiness, a feeling of like something not being right.
Yeah.
But it's easy to ignore when we're all having fun together. But it's
Yes,
still that
exactly.
uneasy feeling, especially in the kitchen and in the garage.
You ever had that feeling in the bathroom?
Yes, oh my God, yes, dude. Her
That's the only
bathroom weirded me the fuck out, dude.
that's the only place in that house that I ever felt like that and actually have something
Uneasy.
happen to me. Actually have a
What happened?
poltergeist happen to me. Uh it was on 4th of July, so everyone was out of the house. They were all in the front
Oh yeah,
while
of
one of
course.
the
We're outside.
grand finales were going off. But I had to use the bathroom. So I ran inside and literally I was the only one in the house.
Hmm.
All you could hear was the fireworks outside, but in the house it was completely quiet. I went to the
Yeah.
bathroom and I was washing my hands after I was done. And one of those hotel sized shampoo bottles was sitting on the edge of the bathroom and
Yeah.
came off the bathroom, the edge of the,
Sink.
what do
Yeah.
you call it? The bathtub. Yeah, came off the edge of the
Bathtub.
bathtub
Oh yeah.
and just hit me straight in the chin. Just
Oh
like
my
flew off, hit
God,
me
dude.
straight in the chin and went into the sink. And so I just turned off the sink. I grabbed the shampoo bottle, put it on the counter of the sink, and just ran outside.
Yeah.
Told Caleb what happened.
Fucking booked. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. I don't know. Their house, something about it, man.
that was the
And
only thing
it
that's ever happened to
honestly,
me though.
no. And honestly, like I can say, it honestly feels like it's gotten progressively worse over the years. Like I haven't been over there in a long time.
Yeah,
But I feel like if I were to walk in there today, I'd feel even worse about it now.
yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it's steadily growing worse over there. But to
Yeah,
call to attention also, that's where we had our UFO sighting in the backyard.
I don't remember that. If I was there with you, I don't
You don't
remember that.
remember the fucking you, me, and Brianna were all out there looking up at the sky, and we see the that one like it looked like a falling star, and it's falling out of the sky, breaks into three pieces, red, blue, and green, and then zooms off in different directions.
I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't remember a lot from that. Like the
You were you
majority.
were you were young. You were probably about like anywhere from 8 to 10,
Yeah, the majority of
but we were all there. We all
that
saw it.
I don't remember. Huh?
We all saw it, and we
Caleb
were
was
all like,
telling
"What
me
the fuck?"
because I hadn't talked to him about this, and he was
Yeah.
telling me like one day he just like told me about how he felt like his house was getting worse and worse. Probably like, I don't know, sophomore and junior year of high school
Yeah.
when I came back. He's telling me about how his house felt like it was getting worse and worse and worse. And he said there was like this ooze, like this. What do you call that? What do you call like some type of like liquid that's unknown? It's like a special.
Excretion?
No, not exactly. But anyway, there was this type of like ooze coming out of his walls, and they had cleaned it and like looked inside the walls to see where it was coming from, like they sealed the cracks on the walls to where it was coming from,
Hmm.
and it kept coming out. And he said that that's where he thinks like the portal is in his house. It was like that was like a portal or some type.
Yeah.
That's all. I was like, it makes sense. And
No, I'm 100% with him, dude. Like, that house, something's up with it.
I went into his closet after he'd said that. That's where he said he was coming from was his closet wall,
Yeah.
and there was
Yo, dude,
stains.
the fucking closet.
Yeah, his closet. I went in there and there was literally like stains of like liquids that were dripping down the wall.
Oh my god, dude.
I kind of agree with him. I think it might be coming from his closet.
Yeah, something's up with that fucking closet. No, you're 100% right. Like, I never felt right near that thing. I never felt right in his room in general. That's why I
Yeah,
like
no.
sleeping in the living room and shit.
You know that feeling when you walk into a guest's, like you go to someone else's house and there's
Yeah,
just like that one room you don't want to go in because it has that like uneasy
yeah,
feeling, and you're like, oh god, that's his entire house. His entire house has that
yeah,
entire like feeling in it where you're like, oh
yeah.
god.
Like, you feel like you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, like anytime you want to go somewhere other than the bathroom, you just feel like you're unsure about walking around in the house
Can I
because you're
do
like,
that? Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's this whole house.
It's fucking weird, dude. And like, yeah, no, I agree. Like, and to me, I honestly think that's something attached to his mom.
Definitely could be.
That's just me. That's just me. Like, I've always had that feeling. Because, like you've said, and like I've said, she does weird shit in the middle of the night.
Hmm.
Weird shit that both of us have experienced that make
I
us
feel like all of
super
our moms
uncomfortable.
do. I was like trying to think. I feel like all of our moms. I don't know about Uncle Don, but all of our moms, I feel like they have something weird about them. Like my mom has night terrors, like bad night terrors, really, really bad night
Huh.
terrors. I physically feel very afraid to wake her up because every time I do, she like screams and like just wakes up and just like looks like she's about to have a panic attack or some of some sort.
Hmm. I can't think of anything weird with my mom, honestly.
I don't
And
know. I
like,
just feel like
not not to,
kind of
not to
all their
make this sound
sisters.
weird, but like, no, like we've gone to like Uncle Don's before, and like I've had to like my dad wasn't there, so I shared their pull-out couch with my mom, and like
Hmm.
nothing weird happened.
Hmm.
Like I've never had anything weird happen with my mom, but
I'm just saying, like I feel like since they're all sisters together, I feel like
yeah,
there's just something, like they seem nice and we love them, but they're just like, there's something a little off they're hiding from us. But
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
No,
I just kind of feel
I
like
can
there's something
agree
a
to
little
that.
off.
There's something that feels weird about it, but
Yeah.
because that's the same thing that they don't ever like getting together.
Yeah.
Notice that?
Mhm.
Like I could say it's just my mom, but I'm pretty sure your mom has probably said the same things, like not like being in the room with all of them at once.
Yeah. And same for Caleb's mom. Heard her say that.
Yeah,
They've all said that.
yeah. I don't know. That's weird. What have we uncovered?
I don't know. But
Yeah.
I can tell you, I for sure think it's not with the family because I've gone with multiple different friends, multiple different times, and we've never had anything scary happen to us. But it's only when I'm
Yeah.
with Caleb that something
Oh yeah.
triggers, something happens.
Oh yeah.
Like the odds of hearing that scream at at the lake that we
Oh
captured,
yeah. No,
the
do you
odds of
not
that
remember when we were?
are so
Uh,
slim.
do you not remember when we were at Truby, and you were telling me about that happening, and then
Yes.
we went and took the golf carts out, and how the woods just felt really uneasy
Yeah.
all down the trails we were driving down.
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that the
It's
odds of
fucking
that scream happening. Because I looked up
unexplainable.
once that had happened, that freaked me out so much. I wanted to know everything about that house. Like there was actually like a murderer that came through there. There was nothing, dude. That house
Yeah.
was just another house on the street, a completely regular, normal house. So the fact that we heard that scream scares me even more.
Random chance. Yeah.
Random chance, because me and him were together.
Yeah. No, I don't know, dude. It's something. It's
And
something with. And
I got
I want to say it's something with that part of the family,
yeah,
except for Derica. Derica's the only
yeah.
one that
Derek is
does
the only
not
like
seem to
normal
like.
one that like
Yeah,
nothing
she's
ever
the only
happens
normal one.
around.
Like, do you
Kind of
ever feel
weird.
really uneasy around Heather?
Most of the time, yes, yes.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I get
Because
really
I've
uneasy
seen her
around
like
Heather.
journals where she drew all that like dark demonic stuff.
I haven't seen them, and I don't want to.
Yeah, I
I
just
can only
found them by
imagine the shit
accident,
she sees.
and it like scarred me as a kid seeing all that stuff. And I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell? But
Oh, dude, it was. Oh my god. Okay, it has to be something with the twins. It has to be. Now that I think about it. You know why?
why?
Because think about how Aunt Karen's kids are. How
Hmm.
they've always been.
Yeah, I always felt really
And
uneasy in her house and around
you're
them.
probably way too young to remember it. But back when Jacob and Jarrett shared a room, dude, there was one time they had their room painted all black. I could not set foot in that room.
Hmm.
And like you were too young. I think you were still just a baby. But my sister and I used to go over there, and Aunt Karen would babysit us when I was still real young. So I grew up playing in that house, and dude, just not the, so uncomfortable in that house as a kid. Now I'm not as uncomfortable in it. I get uncomfortable back towards Aunt Karen's room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And like back towards Rachel's old room. Mm,
that whole house,
that room. That
that whole house,
I,
like the
I
main
can
area,
I
except for
can
those two
agree.
rooms, I feel uneasy in the
Yeah,
whole house. But those two
I feel uneasy
rooms
in the whole house.
scare me.
Two rooms are just worse. They're the worst of it. And in
I've
fact, I think I've told you about this before. But did I tell you about my dream?
hmm, refresh my memory.
Most fucked up dream I've probably ever had. Which, if you didn't know, my nightmares, as of recent, aren't normal nightmares anymore. They're not nightmares where something is attacking me and scaring me. It's a nightmare, and it's happened in several different ways, several different occasions, several different situations, and it's always the same of me becoming whatever everyone is terrified of, the monster, the zombie, the demon, whatever, and attacking people
Hmm,
and feeding off their fear. Like, how fucked
strange.
up is that?
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
fucked up.
fucking scary, dude. And probably the worst one that I just never thought I was going to wake up from because it was unending, and it scared me to my core. It was so scary I could have sworn Rachel had felt it. I probably should have messaged her and be like, "Did you just have a nightmare?" Like, that's how fucking scary it was. Because I had this dream that it was the same situation. I'm in Aunt Karen's house, and she and her husband are in their room down the hall. Rachel, for some reason, is sleeping in her old room down the hall.
Okay.
I'm this fucking like 8 foot tall, long, bendy armed, elbows bent backward creature
You have told me
that's
this
like
one, but keep going.
crawling around the house. And I start going into the fridge and getting food. And I'm eating stuff. And it's like Rachel heard me. And she wakes up and I peer around the corner of the hall and she sees me and immediately starts trying to scream. And I know for some reason that if she screams and her parents wake up and find me, I'm dead. Like it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
So I like, it's so hard to explain. I like gallop with on all fours down the hall, jump up into the air, pull a fist back, and slam her door shut so hard that she's like afraid to scream on the inside. And I'm like immediately start trying to get in and trying to like scare her more and like feeding off her fear.
Man.
And dude, that was the most terrifying dream I've ever had.
That's
of
pretty
me trying to
crazy.
scare Rachel. Dude,
I don't
it's
think I've ever
oh
been
my god. Like,
the
I don't think you ever
killer
want
nightmare
you
in
don't
my
want
dreams.
to experience that shit because I've had similar dreams where I was like I was I got possessed or turned into a zombie and was like trying to eat my mom. Like
Jesus,
I've
man.
had all kinds of fucked up dreams, dude. It's just, and those are what my nightmares consist of now. It's never anything other than that anymore, and I don't know why.
Weird.
It's probably because nothing scares me anymore, except for shit like that.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if I ever told you this, and I really hope I've never told you this, and this will be the first time you ever hear it. But did I ever tell you about the time me and Caleb and a bunch of others went out into the complete middle of nowhere in shallow water and got chased by a big black thing?
You did tell me this because you told me it was the only time Peyton's ever spoken straight in his life.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that now. So yeah, I'll tell that here in a little bit. But that was one of the scariest things of all the things that's ever happened to me. That was one of the scariest
Oh yeah.
because it happened with other people that all saw it. We all
So
saw the
yeah,
thing chasing
saw it.
us, and we all can like
Yeah.
come together this day and all agree that we all saw it. But
Whoa, dude, hold up.
oh,
Can you hear me?
yep.
Okay. Nothing like here happened, but my brain just like it was like a gate opening, and I just remembered a whole bunch of almost suppressed memories of growing up in Aunt Karen's house and the
Oh
scary
man,
ass shit that happened there.
yeah.
Holy shit! But keep telling your story, dude. Like I'm not gonna forget this shit again. It was so fucked up.
Okay. So uh, I'm thinking of names for everyone else because I don't want to. Well, you already said Peyton, so there's his name.
Yeah, that's fine. And we all
Uh,
know the other people that because I
yeah,
play, like Zach.
Zach,
Zach is there,
Ryan
right?
KY. Yeah, he has a YouTube
Yeah.
channel. I play with him all
And
the time.
Colton's there, right?
Colton wasn't there. It was
Oh, okay.
me, Caleb, Zach, Peyton, and one of Peyton's friends. Yeah, actually, for this guy, we'll have to make up a name. I'll use yours. We'll go with Jerry. uh, so yeah, Peyton decided. Well, we wanted to go find the hanging tree
Yeah, the hanging tree.
of our town, which is basically this little like arrangement of items, where if you turned off, you pull up to this tree and you turn off your headlights, it looks like there's a body hanging from this tree, but it's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a bunch of like weird items put together. And so we were looking for this tree, and we ended up in like this place that like we took like 2 hours to find again when we looked for it in the daylight. Just I don't know how we got here. It was the most random place, but it was this tiny little town of like not town, it was a tiny little neighborhood of like 8 houses. And the best way I can describe it is imagine on the left side of your road there's like 5 streets probably, and it's just the there's 2 streets, the one on the front and the one on the end make a giant U, and then the other streets just come to the street you're already on. And so we go down the first street and we're driving and we're just driving all around through this little neighborhood, and we pass the shed. It's a white shed with the paint coming off, and there's a light towards it, and it's one of the few lights in this entire neighborhood. And this big black figure with like white on it. It kind of looked like you could see the white of the shed through him. There's this big black figure, and he steps up from the shed, and I react to it. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, that guy is huge. And Peyton thinks we're like freaking out when we see something, and so he takes off down the road, stops at the end of the road, and he like gets out of the truck. And he's like, "What'd you guys see? What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing, man. We just thought we saw some big guy. Don't worry about it." And as we're stopped there at the end of this road, he's getting back in the truck to get ready to go. And I tell him to wait because I hear like this grass, like sticks crunching and grass moving. And it's coming from the shed that was down the road. And I hear it like someone is running for their life, like something is chasing them as fast as they can physically run, and it's coming at us. I could hear it get closer and louder. It just keeps getting louder and louder, and I look up and I can kind of see. I didn't really see the black shape of it. I just kind of saw like the grass like move, like everything was kind of like moving due to like the breeze of like how fast he was going. I could see like this little like trail of like the grass kind of like shaking, and so I immediately like started screaming, telling him to go. And those were the two times I was questionable about it. Like I was like, I don't know if that really happened or my mind was just making it up.
Mm-hmm.
That was just kind of dumb. I don't know. I didn't want to say anything about it because it was kind of like that could have just been me making it up. So he takes off about 2 blocks down. We're on like the end street now, and the only other people outside in this small little town of like tiny broken houses that looks like the most broken neighborhood ever out in the
Oh
like
yeah.
the boondocks. And the only people that are out there is a lady who's standing under the streetlight at her mailbox, smoking a cigarette with her dog running around, who's like in her 50s probably, wearing this nightgown,
Mm-hmm.
gross as hell. And the other guy is some old man sitting on his porch a couple houses down. That's it. It's the only people we saw out. And they were
Yeah.
all giving us this look, like just this nasty, foul, like get the fuck out of our neighborhood look. And so we were like, all right, this isn't the neighborhood. Let's get out of here. And he drives to the last block, stops in the middle of the road, about I'd say like 20 feet from the edge of the road where it connects to the big main road that we got here on. And Caleb
Mm-hmm.
hops out of the back of the truck, pulls up to the driver window to talk to Peyton, and he was telling them what we saw. He was telling them how it was this big black figure and it was running at us. And he keeps like looking down to the end of the street where uh, the street light was and the lady standing under it. The lady walks away. She turns around and starts walking back to her house fast, like just kind of like fast paced, like walking back to her house. And
Mm-hmm.
Caleb like looks at her and he looks back to Peyton and he looks back again and he just stops with just like this complete like face of fear. And he points and he's like, "There he is!" And like we all just like simultaneously just turn around at the end of the road, and there's like this fucking 7 foot tall black. It looks like he was wearing one of those what do you call those full like suits you put over your head?
Ghillie suits.
Not a ghillie suit, but like the tight fit ones that we all used to wear for like Halloween and stuff.
Hold up, hold up, hold up.
Kind of look like leotards for your entire body.
Hold up.
He's almost got it.
Oh my god, I hope Alec has his door open.
Oh god. Oh, I thought you were trying to remember the name of the suit.
No,
Didn't know.
dude, I'm hearing voices.
God. You gotta get up and investigate, man. That's what I had to do.
Mm-hmm. Like, I heard knocking at first or moving, and I was like, I'm just hearing shit, it's not real.
Yeah.
And like, I kept hearing it, and I was like, I pulled my headphone out so I could hear it and like turn the game off for a second. And like, I swear, if I pulled this headphone out and stopped listening to you for a second, I could hear a voice.
Hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not alone.
Oh my god, I'm going to murder that cat. It's my cat outside my door knocking on it.
Wow.
But I'm still definitely hearing a voice, but it may be his TV in there.
Huh. Strange.
Because, like, he leaves his TV on pretty loud, like, so do I.
Interesting. Should I continue?
Yeah, keep going, sorry.
So it was one of these suits. It looked like a morph suit. That's the name I was going
Morph suit, okay,
for.
yeah.
Like completely like 7 foot tall guy wearing like a black morph suit. That's how black it was. It was complete and
Mm.
total black figure. But it looked like a human, like a skin tight. You could see arms, head, shoulders, legs. And he was running down the street. I can't explain how fast he was going. He had to run like 3 blocks to catch up with us in like a matter of a minute, 40 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
And he's just running at us. And Peyton, without even having a second thought, just hits the fucking gas. Caleb's not even in the truck. He just hits the fucking gas. And Caleb has to jump on the back of the truck, and his foot's on the tire. He's trying to like lift himself back into the back of the truck, and the tire starts spinning, and his foot slips off, and he just like with all his like weight in his arm, all his strength in his arms, he just throws himself into the back. But that was one of the scariest ones for me because we all saw that figure chasing us. It was like
Oh
right
yeah,
under the street light,
everyone
and it
sees
was
it.
running
Yeah.
at us, and he just took off. It was insane, man. But tell us more about
Yeah, that shit's.
your Aunt Karen house
What?
story.
Oh, okay. So no, I started remembering like repressed memories of that fucking place, dude. Like, one of them was being in Jesus, you fucking cat. being in like being a small kid, and Rachel like telling us about the man in her closet and stuff, and like I
Oh
remember
God.
many times seeing black masses in that closet moving around. And like I remember one time for some reason she shut me in the closet, and I have never been more terrified in my life than her shutting me in that closet because there was other people in there.
Man.
Like I just remember a shit ton of stuff being in that closet, dude. I also remember one
Jesus.
night sleeping over there, and she had two Furbies, and they were speaking to each other,
Oh
like
God.
whispering to each other. Furbies are like Satan's creation.
Yeah, they are.
Fucking hate Furbies, dude.
Is there any other stories you want to tell?
Uh,
I can
just like
give a few, but if you can't think any.
yeah. No, I mean just not from there. Like nothing,
No,
nothing
just
really
any
comes to mind.
stories.
I mean, did you want to read some or tell some personal experiences?
I want to get through like one or two more personal stories, and then we can read another creepypasta
Okay,
or just another story, I guess.
yeah,
But I'm not gonna tell the one about the whole leak experience because I have a whole nother video for that. And I'll probably link that one
yeah,
in the description. I have a
yeah.
whole nother video for that
You
one.
still need to send me.
I can send you a
You still
video
need to
of
send
that
me the
screen.
video. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that right now. But I guess one of the scariest ones. I'm not gonna go big into the giant ones of like me semi getting like possessed that one time.
Yeah.
Dang,
That's
what is?
just
Oh
scary.
God, that's a scary picture you sent me. Looks like Junkrat in the woods or something.
That's what I'm saying. That went with the Goat Man story, dude.
That came with the Goatman story.
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
I know.
I think I still have it saved. So no, I don't. I'll send it to you here in a little bit.
I, I know you have it somewhere.
Yeah, I do. I had it in my camera roll not too long ago. Um, so I'm trying to think of a good, like not super long one to tell.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So, uh, what's a good one? Can't think of like a really good one for. I don't want to do one at my old house. I was thinking of one on like my dad's.
Nah, dude. Everyone at your old house is fucking.
Terrifying, I
Oof.
know. But all
I
right,
thought
I'll
of a
give
good
you.
one.
Hold on, let me just get this one's really short. I just want
Yeah,
to
no,
get this out
forgot.
to you. So I had this old house, and basically I figured out after a couple years of not living there that the reason it was so messed up was because my brother had some friends over, and they don't really believe in like the Ouija boards causing spirits or whatever to come out.
No, yeah.
And so they tried it, and they used a Ouija board in the house, and the house just went haywire with shit going on.
Yeah.
And like pretty much if you ever wanted to go and find something and have something crazy happen to you, it was like just an everyday life of mine living in that house. You could
Oh
just pull
yeah.
a camera
Oh
out
yeah.
and catch something. And to prove that, I used to come like every single school day. I would invite my friends over, and we would pull out one of my phones and we would record video, I record like audio. I mean, just record audio messages, like voice memos,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're called. And I caught one. I caught one day of pretty much every time we would, at least once, we would hear like this like real like scratchy high voice come through and say, "I
Yeah.
hate you." And so one day I was asking, I was like, "Who do you hate? You always say that. Who do you hate?" And I gave my full name, or I didn't give my full name. I would just give my first name. I said, "I'm Chase." And I went through the room listing everyone else's first name. And we went and played it back. And after I said that, as soon as I got done finishing my sentence, it said my entire name. It said Trevor Chase Spain. It just came through there and it said my
Fuck that, dude.
entire name. And we didn't even listen to the rest of it. I closed it and just ran out of the house and went to someone else's
Yeah, I
house.
don't believe me.
Yeah, that was
No,
a short
man.
one.
Like,
Go ahead.
I remember plenty from that house. Like, honestly,
Oh
like,
yeah,
I can't say that house felt uneasy in like one room or another because the whole house just felt fucking
the whole
awful.
house just felt like you were gonna have something bad
But like,
happen to you.
there are rooms in the house that felt even worse. Shelby's room,
Mm-hmm.
100% felt awful. The
Yes.
bathroom, 100%
Both
terrible.
bathrooms or just one
And the
bathroom?
laundry room,
Both bathrooms or just one bathroom?
fucking the one by your room,
Yeah. Okay. Honestly,
by
man,
all
on a
of
real
y'all's
note with
rooms.
you,
That one, yeah.
I completely forgot we had a laundry room until you said that. And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, we
But
have a
tell me how
laundry
fucked up
room.
that laundry room was.
That laundry room was destroyed, so I never went in there. Like, I literally never went in that laundry room.
Oh
Maybe
yeah, but
once or
no,
twice.
it's still a fucking nightmare in there, dude. Like I never felt good in that laundry room, even like looking at it.
I don't know how I was say I don't know how you ever got in the laundry room.
But no, um, yeah, man, that house was not safe. No, I thought of one that happened at my house when Seth was over, and I'm talking about my house in Watauga
Oh wow.
when me and Seth were kids, little kids. I remember he stayed over one night, and for some reason our parents had gone somewhere and left us there to watch TV. We were by ourselves. All we have is the TV on, and like we're sitting in the living room on the couch in my house. And the way the house is set up is we have the living room and then the kitchen's right next to it. And I remember us sitting there like watching TV and we were drinking Gatorades. And Seth was like, "What do I do with my Gatorade when I'm done with it?" I was like, "We're gonna have to put it in the trash, but like it's dark in there, so I want to go in there." I was like, "So throw it in the kitchen." And he like threw his bottle in the kitchen, and like not even a second later, it got thrown back out.
Holy shit.
And that scared us so bad that we got behind the couch. Well, while we're behind the couch, the TV turns off. And we're both freaking the fuck out and scrambling to find the remote, and then the TV turned back on to nothing but static.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, it was fucking scary. I bet he won't remember that at all, but I do.
I actually have a really messed up story. I gotta tell one last real short one that I dismissed
Yeah,
because my dad told me uh, a
yeah,
different reason for it, not to scare me because I was little.
yeah.
I specifically remember one day I was eating hot dogs, watching TV. I was like 9 or 10, eating hot dogs, watching TV at my old house, and my dog
Hmm.
Allie, or not my, I think it was Allie.
Yeah, Allie, yeah.
Yeah, Allie was sitting on the floor, and I looked down at her, and I was like, "Hey, Allie, how you doing?" And so like petting her, and I just leaned up, and I like put my legs up on the couch and started eating, and she looked at me and did this like growl. And I just looked at her, and I was like, "What the hell, Allie?" Dude, I shit you not. Her eyes rolled to the back of her fucking head, and her eyes were white.
Ugh,
Like, the back of her fucking eyes were showing. Her eyes rolled to the
ugh.
back of her head. And I freaked the fuck out. I just threw my fucking hot dogs across the room, got up, and I just
No.
ran the fuck out of the door and went over to Kevin's house next door to my
Yeah,
dad. I was like, "Dad, Dad,
yeah.
Dad." I was like, "Something's wrong with Allie. Her eyes like flipped inside out." And he was like, "Oh, it's just old age, son. Don't worry about it." That was like one of the scariest moments for me, seeing my
No, dude, that's fucking
her
terrifying.
eyes fucking roll like
Yeah,
inside
no,
out,
trust me.
and
I
she was like,
remember Allie very, very.
while it was happening. It was scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I remember Allie very, very vividly. Um, yeah, dude, no, that was fucking. That'd be fucking terrifying. That's too much, man.
All right, we can read a scary story now if you don't have another one lined up.
You gonna find one or?
I was gonna let you do all the creepypasta reading tonight.
Yeah, I can find one. Why don't we just fuck this and start our own podcast sometime?
That would be nice. I was actually really looking at buying a really nice and like boom arm mic.
Yeah, you already have one, I thought.
No, I don't.
Uh,
I almost ordered one.
well, first off, we need to find a central location where we can get together and do that type of shit. But secondly, just while I'm googling this and looking for a good story,
Uh,
I'll read who was phoned.
what?
I'll read who was phoned.
Who is phone?
Who was phoned?
What the hell?
You don't know what who was phone is?
No, dude, I
I'll
don't
read
have
that
any of
one
these.
whenever we're ready to be done.
Okay,
It's not a real scary story. It's just dumb.
okay.
Yeah. Um. Damn. What should I read? What should I put into Google search? You tell me that, and I'll see what comes up. That's worth reading.
Actually, I have to go to sleep pretty soon and get to work. So I say you go ahead and read who was phone. We end it, and then we'll discuss
Okay.
a little extra stuff at the end. Cause I gotta go to sleep pretty soon. If I can fucking go to sleep somehow.
What, you think you won't be able to sleep after all this?
Dude, this entire time, as soon as the music stops playing on the game, I hear fucking shit right outside the door. It's like scaring the hell out of me. But
Uh, I know it's my cat trying to get in, so
I don't have an
I have
excuse.
a cat.
Every
Yeah, you don't have.
noise-making thing in the house is asleep. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is this is how this is worded. This is the best creepypasta and the scariest thing of all time. I'm gonna read this exactly like it's worded.
yeah.
So you're with your honey and you're making out when the phone rings. Oh, I'm sorry, when the phone riggins.
What
You
the hell?
answer it, and the voice is, and the voice is, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl, and she say, "My dad is dead." Then who was phone?
Oh my god. Okay, that was really short. We'll end on something else, but goddamn, that was stupid. Uh,
Then who was phone?
man, you don't know any other like scary stories like the Goat Man, something like that?
Something long like that.
Not long, but just something of that nature.
Something of that nature, something that's got that like element to it.
Yeah.
God damn. Okay, let me think.
And we don't have to. I'll just tell
No, no,
like
no. I
another.
want to. I want to. I want to.
Okay.
Uh, hold on.
Oh wait, no, I'm gonna go ahead and send you that video.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, the video is fucking nuts, dude.
Maybe even play it for the stream real fast though.
Yeah, yeah. Do that while I'm doing this.
I can fucking find it somewhere.
Okay. Depending on how short these are, I may read these for the like all of these. There's only 13, so. Oh yeah, these are real short. Holy shit.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, are you gonna play the video?
No, no, no. I'm still trying to find it. Go ahead.
Okay. This first story is called Mommy's Home. I heard one. A father is laying in bed after just waking up. He grabs the baby monitor and walks to his desk in his office at home. He has his baby on the baby monitor and hears his wife singing to her. He cracks a smile and his wife goes, "Go to sleep. Go to sleep." When suddenly the front door opens and his wife comes in with groceries.
Oh god.
Uh, Number two, pretending to be asleep doesn't work. Here's one that scared the living shit out of me when I was younger. A young boy is sleeping in his bed on a usual night. He hears footsteps outside his door and peeks out of his eyes to see what is happening. His door swings open quietly to reveal a murderer carrying the corpses of his parents. After silently propping them up on a chair, he writes something on the wall in the blood of the dead bodies. He then hides under the child's bed. The child is scared beyond belief. He can't read the writing on the wall, and he knows the man is under his bed. Like any child, he pretends that he slept through the whole thing and hasn't awoken yet. He lays still as the body is quietly hearing the breaths from under his bed. An hour passes, and his eyes are adjusting more and more to the darkness. He tries to make out the words, but it's a struggle. He gasps when he finally makes out the sentence. I know you're awake. He feels something shift beneath the bed. I know all of these, and they all fucking suck. Sorry. Like, if you haven't heard them before, they're kind of scary, but I've known them all, and they suck.
I
What's
have
in
the
the
video ready.
basement?
So,
Oh, okay, yeah. What's in the basement? Mommy told me never to go in the basement, but I wanted to see what was making that noise. It sounded kind of like a puppy, and I wanted to see the puppy. So I opened the basement door and tiptoed down a bit. I didn't see a puppy, and then Mommy yanked me out of the basement and yelled at me. Mommy had never yelled at me before, and it made me sad, and I cried. Then Mommy told me never to go in the basement again, and she gave me a cookie. That made me feel better, so I didn't ask her why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy, or why he had no hands and feet.
oh god, Stark.
Okay, play the video.
Alright. Hold on, I'm gonna have to like stop the music from playing. How do I do that?
Yeah. I want to hear it too. Like, no music.
Let's see, how could I do that? Let's see. Oh, oh god, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Here we go. Come on, adjust. There we go. Now, there we go. Now it should just be party audio. All right, here we go. That's it. Tail looking there. God, that sounds so weird. Dude, hang on. Did you hear that? No fucking. No. Did you even hear it?
I didn't get to hear it. Damn, it cut out.
Yeah,
Try it
you
again.
could barely even hear it. Here we go. No fucking. No, go.
Nah, it cuts out.
Gotta go back a little bit. There you go. No, you probably can't even hear it over the mic.
Yeah, no, it cuts out. It's weird. It's like your mic can't pick it up.
Good cause. But yeah, I sent it to you. Maybe you can try.
Yeah. I'll try. You send it to me. See, I know what I'm looking for too. Like most people don't.
Dude, hang on. Did you hear that? No fucking. No. Oh yeah, I could hear it.
Were you able to hear it?
I could hear it really good.
Yeah. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, it was a scary time right there.
Yeah. I used to work weekend nights, and my wife would always be home alone with her car in the driveway. One particular Saturday, I was at work, and my wife happened to go out with her friend. Her friend picked her up, so her car was still in the driveway. When I got home at 1 a.m., the power to the house was out. I went to check the circuit breaker and saw the padlock on it had been cut. I promptly went inside and called 911. Here's the conclusion I came to, though I'm open to alternatives. Someone had been watching us for a while and knew our habits. That Saturday, they saw her car in the driveway and my car gone. They cut the lock in through the circuit breaker. This would have baited her outside. She would have been outside with the front door unlocked and quite vulnerable. I, I bought a nice bottle of wine for her friend and a shotgun for the house. Boopy.
Wait, what? I didn't get that one.
It wasn't like a scary story. He was talking about like someone had tried to bait his wife outside to like get into the house and either kill her or steal stuff by cutting the
Huh.
circuit breaker, but she wasn't home and he wasn't home, so it didn't work.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah. A man leaves his house one morning to walk to work. I know this one. It's a joke. It's not even a fucking creepy pasta. It's a joke. I want to tell it in joke form almost, but no. A man leaves his house every morning to walk to work and passes a mental hospital surrounded by a wooden fence. Every morning the patients are out in the yard and you can hear them saying in unison, 10, 10, 10, 10. One day he gets curious and looks through a hole in the fence. Suddenly, a stick
Pokes him in the eye.
shoots out and pokes him in the eye. Fuck, he
11.
says to himself. While walking away, pissed off, he can hear the patient saying 11, 11. So dumb, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, this one fucks me up. It'll be the last one. Or maybe I can read these two, because that one's good after it. God damn, all the good ones are down here, of course, now.
Read from
When
like
I was a child, what?
read from like the worst to the best through those, so we can end it on a
That's what
good
I'm
note.
doing.
Yeah, good
Oh,
note.
okay, yeah, that's what I'll do. Because, like, I'm looking at. Let me look down the rest, I'm sorry. Real quick. Uh, yeah, the rest of these suck. So I'll read from worst to best because they're in fucking order from worst to best. And one of them is actually I can just look it up real quick. You remember what I told you about that scarecrow story earlier? That's one of them. So I'm going to read that one last.
Okay.
This one's called Yes. When I was a child, my family moved to a big old two-floor house with big empty rooms and creaking floorboards. Both my parents worked, so I was often home alone when I came home from school. One early evening when I came home, the house was still dark. I called out, "Mum," and heard her sing-songy voice say, "Yes," from upstairs. I called her again as I climbed the stairs to see which room she was in, and got the same "yes" in reply. We were decorating at the time. I didn't know the house very well, but she was in one of the far rooms, right down the hall. I felt uneasy, but I figured it was only natural, so I rushed forward to see my mom, knowing that her presence would calm my fears, as a mother's presence always does. Just as I reached for the handle of the door to let myself into the room, I heard the front door downstairs open, and my mom called, "Sweetie, are you home?" in a cheery voice. I jumped back, startled, and ran down the stairs to her. But as I glanced back from the top of the stairs, the door to the room slowly opened a crack. For a brief moment, I saw something strange in there. I don't know what it was, but it was staring at me.
I've heard that same
Okay.
one, but it was like in the middle of the night, and you're going upstairs because you
Yeah.
hear your mom say, "Come here," and when you're halfway up the stairs, you hear your same mom say, "Don't listen to her. Come down here."
Yeah, I heard it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's fucking terrifying. All I saw was red. I still love this one even though I've heard it a million times. Because it's fucking creepy. I check into a small hotel a few kilometers from Kiev.
Holy shit,
It is
dude.
late. I'm tired. I tell a woman at desk I want a room. She tells me the room number and gives me a key. But one more thing. There is one room without a number and always locked. Don't even peek in there. I take the key and go to the room to sleep. Night falls and I hear a trickling of water. It comes from the room across the hall. I can't sleep, so I open the door. It's coming from the room with no number. I pound on the door, no response. I look in the keyhole. I see nothing but red. Water is still trickling. I look in the keyhole again, all I see is red. I go down to the front desk and complain. I'm like, "By the way, who's in that room?" She looks at me and begins to tell a story. There was a woman in there one time, murdered by her husband. The strange thing was her skin was all right, except her eyes, which were red.
Wow.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Bro, I was gonna tell you
Okay, so
before you start
yeah,
the next one. I just looked over and I'm hearing the same noises of like it sounds like it's like a little trickling noises,
Rain.
and there's a big like
Yeah.
at the very end of it. And just every once in a while, when that big goes off, I see the pictures, and every single picture on the wall is perfectly still, except for one of me in like middle school and just shaking.
Dude, is that what the noise is? The rattling of the picture?
Oh, it seems like it's happening after the big noise. Can't tell.
That's weird.
Freaky. I can continue.
Okay, hold on. And this last one is Harold. Which, whew. Hold on. Please give me the story so I can read it. Okay. Um. No, come on. Sorry, let me try one more thing here. I'm just posting it. Okay, this is good. Fucking cats digging in the litter box. I was like, what the fuck is that? Okay. Harold. When it got hot in the valley, Thomas and Alfred drove their cows up to a cool green pasture in the mountains to graze. Usually they stayed there with the cows for 2 months. Then they brought them down to the valley again. The work was easy enough, but oh, it was boring. All day the two men tended their cows. At night they went back to the tiny hut where they lived. They ate supper and worked in the garden and went to sleep. It was always the same. Then Thomas had an idea that changed everything. Let's make a doll the size of a man, he said, and put a dildo on. No, I'm sorry. Uh, it would be
What?
fun to make. And we could put it in the garden to scare away the birds. I'm sorry, I had to slip that in there. It should look like Harold, Alfred said. Harold was a farmer they both hated. They made the doll out of old sacks stuffed with straw. They gave it a pointy nose like Harold's and tiny eyes like his. Then they added dark hair and a twisted crown. Of course, they also gave it Harold's name. Each morning on their way to the pasture, they tied Harold to a pole in the garden to scare away the birds. Each night, they brought him inside so that he wouldn't get ruined if it rained. When they were feeling playful, they would talk to him. One of them might say, "How are the vegetables growing today, Harold?" And then the other, making believe he was Harold, would answer in a crazy voice, "Very slowly." They would both laugh, but not Harold. Whenever something went wrong, they took it out on Harold. They would curse at him, even punch or kick him. Sometimes one of them would take the food they were eating, which they were both sick of, and smear it on the doll's face. "How do you like that stew, Harold?" he would ask. "Well, you better eat it, or else." Then the two men would howl with laughter. One night, after Thomas had wiped Harold's face with food, Harold grunted. "Did you hear that?" Alfred asked. "It was Harold," Thomas said. "I was watching him when it happened. I can't believe it." "How could he grunt?" Alfred asked. "He's just a sack of straw. It's not possible." "Let's throw him in the fire," said Thomas, "and that will be that." "Let's not do anything stupid," said Alfred. "We don't know what's going on. When we move the cows down, we'll leave them behind. For now, let's just keep an eye on him." So they left Harold sitting in the corner of the hut. They didn't talk to him or take him outside anymore. Now and then the dog grunted, but that was all. After a few days, they decided there was nothing to be afraid of. Maybe a mouse or some insects had gotten inside Harold and were making those sounds. So Thomas and Alfred went back to their old ways. Each morning they put Harold in the garden, and each night they brought him back into the hut. When they felt playful, they joked with him. When they felt mean, they treated him badly as ever. Then one night Alfred noticed something that frightened him. "Harold is growing," he said. "I was thinking the same thing," Thomas said. "Maybe it's just our imagination," Alfred replied. "We have been up here on this mountain for too long." The next morning, while they were eating, Harold stood up and walked out of the hut. He climbed up on the roof and trotted back and forth like a horse on its hind legs. All day and night all day and all night long he trotted like that. In the morning, Harold climbed down and stood in the far corner of the pasture. The men had no idea what he would do next. They were afraid. They decided to take the cows into the valley that same day. When they left, Harold was nowhere in sight. They felt as if they had escaped a great danger and soon began joking and singing. But when they had gone only a mile or two, they realized they had forgotten to bring the milking stools. Not the milking stools! Neither one wanted to go back for them, but the stools would cost a lot to replace. There's really nothing to be afraid of, they told one another. After all, what could a doll do? They drew straws to see who would go back. It was Thomas. I'll catch up with you, he said, and Alfred walked on toward the valley. When Alfred came to a rise in the path, he looked back for Thomas. He did not see him anywhere, but he did see Harold. The doll was on the roof of the hut again. As Alfred watched, Harold kneeled and stretched out a bloody skin to dry in the sun.
Hmm.
That's
Something
it.
like the one you were telling me about the.
That's the one I was talking about.
Wow.
It was in that list, so I decided to read it. How
Wow.
serendipitous that it would be in that list.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But yeah, no, fucked up story. But
Dude,
who was fun?
it's a good ending of a good night.
Good endo.
Apparently, one of the babies woke up, and so
Good, thank God.
one of the babies woke up, and I think someone else woke up to look for, like, take care of him.
Take care of them, yeah.
And now everything stopped. All the sound stopped. The picture stopped moving. Everything has stopped.
Sheesh. It's only you, man. It's only you they fuck with.
So
I
I
mean,
don't
they
know.
fuck with me, but not on the same level.
Yeah, I don't know. But everything's all right now because someone's awake. So I'm gonna just end this. Go to
And go
sleep.
to sleep.
Yep, it's gonna be a good day.
And it never happened.
Pretend it never even happened. All right.
All right. I'm gonna end the
Later I'll
scene.
do. Actually, no, wait. I just
Who
gotta
was
end this,
fun?
and then we gotta talk for a second.